transition us.
Yep. Welcome to the show. This is it. This is Wrestling on the Rocks. Thank you guys for tuning in to our very first show. Every show is our first show because we can't
hopefully
figure
not
it
our
out.
last show.
Yeah, that's the trick of it. As long as you keep having a first show, the show keeps going on. Once you have the last show, that's the problem. Yeah, you can't have the last one if you're still on the first.
No, treat it like Ric Flair's last match. We're like, oh, that was really good, and then have like several terrible ones to add on. You know,
Shoulder stops legs for 7.
Yeah.
What was that?
Shoulders. What
Yeah,
was
someone's
that?
someone's
Is
watching
someone listening
us.
to like some dandruff products or something?
Oh, is that you? Did you not mute
No,
the...
I did. It says we're muted.
All right, well, Head & Shoulders now a sponsor. Guys, welcome to another week of Wrestling on the Rocks. If there is any audio anomalies, that's just because we're bad at this. And
We're all just fucking terrible.
yeah, there's a good possibility that it'll be maybe fixed on the next one, so bear with us. We're figuring it out. It's our first show all year, every year. Let's see, who do we got here? I'm at Ref Marsh on Twitter. I go by Marsh. Let's see, we got Kevlar. You want to introduce yourself, Kevlar?
I'm Kevlar.
Oh, wow.
Wrestling on the Rocks. Kevlar. Wrestling on the Rocks. Or something like that.
None of that's true. None of that's true at all. His Twitter's actually at Kevlar on the Rocks with an X.
That's it.
Let's see. One message, Jesse. It's my fault, actually. That actually could be Jesse's fault. And last but not least on our show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, scumbags of all
We're doing
ages,
this again.
Wrestling on the Rocks proudly brings to you its Long Island scumbag of the world, Iron Manzi.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for having me back. Thank
Alright,
you so much.
awesome.
You invited me back.
We invite you for...
Mama made it on Wrestling on the Rocks again.
Yeah, you're on episode 1 again.
Imagine that.
Mama, you hear that?
The pilot episode.
Actually, what's funny is Manzi is on the first podcast that we dropped, but not on the previous year of just videos we were making. So he technically was on the first show. And again, every show's the first show. So we're all kind of on the first show.
Oh, yeah. I'm more important, though, so shut up.
That makes sense. Let's see. So you may notice Clump is not here this week, which is timely because tomorrow is his birthday.
Ooh.
So the day after his birthday is my birthday. So I thought, how cool is this show going to be? A couple of birthday boys cracking a cold one.
Speaking of which,
I'm definitely hearing music.
who has music on?
Can you please check your tabs?
I'm going to double check because there's a TV on here, but I'm going to turn it off really quick. Hang on. So sorry.
I have one
My
tab,
move.
And it's
and
muted?
it is muted.
All right. Okay. This is going great, guys. This is a really good first episode. So I am gonna have for my birthday a Steve Weiser Broken Skull IPA. Very hard to get these in Arizona, but I got one. So there's if you follow us on Twitter, you'll see that there's a restaurant in town that for some reason or another just occasionally will do ribs with 2 Broken Skull IPAs, and so we did that and said, can you throw in more of those? And they did. So
We also have a gift, a birthday gift.
oh, there's a birthday gift.
It's a small birthday gift. It's nothing crazy.
It's Crown Royal. It's a small Crown
not
Royal.
Crown Royal.
It's in our Wrestling on the Rocks bag. This is the gift that Kevin gave me last year. That's really good. Good every year. Kevlar knows how to come through every time. Let's see.
There's like a shelf like Crown Royal with like your name on it for like every year. Like a little bow on it.
Yeah, the same little one. It looks like we have an Undertaker pin where he's in a casket that opens up and he's just living inside of it, and a sticker of the old ice cream pops. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. That'll go well with the Undertaker stuff, but there's no way to put it up. So,
Sorry.
really good. So everyone who's listening, looks cool, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
You guys can totally see what I'm saying right now, right? Like, it's absolutely, bro.
What's
Yeah, yeah.
Nancy sipping on?
Let's see. So I'm having a Broken Skull IPA for my birthday because hell yeah. It was really good, Steve Austin. People probably thought he came on the show. Kevlar, what are you drinking?
Guess what?
This spot?
What's that?
What do you think?
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking some Jameson, just on the rocks.
As you do.
Nice.
Manzi, what do you got over there? What are you drinking? What's in your cup?
I'm drinking a can of Twisted Hard Iced Tea, peach flavor.
Ooh, that peach twisted. Cheers, guys.
I really like these. Cheers.
Thanks for coming
Cheers.
through, guys.
And happy birthday,
Yeah.
you and Clump.
Yeah, me and
Happy
Clump.
birthday, my man.
Yeah, a couple birthday boys. Clump's not on the show. The thing about when Clump's not on the show is he also doesn't watch the show, so we can tell him fuck himself. You know, like there's a gift over here for him.
Yeah,
fuck him.
fuck him, Clump.
What am I gonna? I might even put it in the fire. Who knows? We'll see. Mandy's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna want it.
Someone should do something stupid here, and it's not going to be me.
Let's see though. Let's see what's going on. Was there anything else you guys want to talk about? Just as far as intro into the show, check out our website, wrestlingontherocks.com, for all of our links. And I think apart from that, we can get into the news. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So the only thing, there wasn't a ton going on, but there is a little bit that I saw. Tessa Blanchard released from Impact. What do you guys think about that?
I think it shows bad form on her part.
Yeah. When, a lot of accusations and things like that, but especially when this whole speaking out movement started, which, okay, I 100% agree with it. People should be speaking out regardless if it's with a hashtag or not. But if they feel more comfortable to where it's a movement or maybe they feel more encouraged by others, I 100% condone that. I mean, not to sound disrespectful, but fuck her. No, we don't need that kind of negativity in wrestling, especially, if she's a champion or the company puts a belt on you, you have a certain sense of representation that you need to bring to the table. And if that's what you're bringing to the table, absolutely, you don't deserve a contract. You don't deserve to be at that hierarchy anymore. You don't deserve that. You deserve to be on the independents, and you deserve to, where you sleep where you shit. Simple as that.
Yeah. Is that you, Kev?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it sounds a little harsh and rude, and I don't mean to come off that way, but when you have someone that's belittled others and has disrespected so many other very talented women, it's kind of like one of those things to where it's like bittersweet. You feel bad for them for losing a job, but you're also happy that the other people kind of got more, kind of like more success out of it,
Right,
like other people
but
are doing better than her.
The issue with that is that that's not why they let her go. They didn't let her go for anything even remotely close to
Really?
speaking out.
you
There's a couple
joking?
things about that. No. So a couple of things. They let her go because her contract is up in July, and she has not shown up to the TV tapings since the quarantine happened. Because she had decided to quarantine in Mexico with her. I don't know if they're engaged or married, but her significant other, they're quarantining in Mexico. So she hadn't shown up to any of the tapings. They thought they could get her to come to this taping in July, and I guess the negotiations were not going in a way where they thought she was going to resign. But I guess the thing that tipped it was that she also wasn't sending in video packages for them to play, for them to push forward a storyline, which I kind of see both sides where it's like, if you in your heart don't think you're actually going to be able to make it to that July pay-per-view, then why would you send in videos?
Yeah.
But if all they're asking for is videos, why couldn't you? And also,
It's not hard.
yeah, it's not hard, and a lot of other companies are doing that. But then also, why are they forcing her to go to, or supposedly, forcing her to go to these filmings if she doesn't believe that it's safe? And as we can see with all these other things going on, it may not be the safest thing to put on wrestling shows right now. So it seems to be reasonable for someone to not go to a TV taping if they don't feel safe. But I agree with Kevlar where it feels like bad form. It feels like something more could have happened. There could have been more communication somewhere in there. It does sound a little bit like I've got the title and I do what I want, and I just decided to stay quiet.
Well, my big thing too with that is just, you're under contract, you're paid to do a job, do your job. If you can't make it, they just wanted,
Video
videotape.
packages.
Yeah, and it kind of screws with the fans
Yeah,
and everything.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know, fans don't get any kind of closure besides, hey, she was released, we have the title back, and
They
that's
don't know
it.
what's happening behind the scenes, unless it's documented and then exposed.
Mm.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
100%.
To
And
the
it feels a
casual
little
viewer
petty
who's not like
too.
on Twitter or anything.
There does feel like there's a pettiness going on between both of them as well. If they let her go because they don't think that she's going to resign. But as far as the speaking out stuff goes, she wasn't listed in any of that. I do remember there was something about her a while back, which may not be the conversation to have, but it's something I've been thinking about. So maybe it is, and you can maybe help me think a different way because I'm a little confused by everything. So when I looked up even more about the story, it sounded like she said a really bad thing to a person one time. But it also
It wasn't
sounded
one
like
time; it was several times.
the allegations of being racist seem to be hinged on one particular instance
Yeah,
that I could see. And from what I saw, it looked like her and the other woman in question had talked about it. And they had come to their own mutual understanding or grievance. They had worked it out between themselves. And it didn't sound like she ever said that again. So she may be a dick. She might be an asshole. But as far as all the people saying that she's outright racist, is it possible to say a racist thing one time and not be a racist? Is it possible to grow after that? Or to shudder when you hear yourself say that and think, wow, I didn't know that was in me. I need to address that. Is it possible to do that? Or do we blanket them forever for potentially one instance in that way? And like I said, it could very well be that she's an asshole in every other way.
yeah.
But I just wonder about that particular instance. I keep hearing that she's racist, and all I can find is one instance where she said something in anger, inappropriately and incorrectly and absolutely wrongfully. But then it sounds like she never said it again. So that shows growth. And it sounds
Yeah.
like she worked it out with that other person, which shows an attempt at growth. Is it not possible to grow from that?
It's always possible. I mean, it depends on what your it's like your maturity level. If you slip up one time and say, "Wow, this person's a so and so," and it happens to be racist, yeah, it's absolutely wrong. But if you maybe apologize after that, talk to the person, and then you don't do it again, and like you said, there is attempt at growth, I think that's great. But I mean, from what I'd seen online, there were more people speaking against her about it, and like there were like small incidents around it slightly. From what I remember, like all the excuse me, all the bullshit happening. But I mean, yeah, I think there is a big attempt at growth, and if she is improving and growing from this, that's fine by me. That's good on her for being a better person and realizing and rationalizing her.
Yeah. And I think to me that's the point, right? I mean, is cancel
Yeah.
culture really about how do we erase someone entirely, or is it about how do we make people look in the mirror and do something about it? Like what are
Yeah,
like I don't see a lot of room there for yeah, they did that 10 years ago, but they haven't done it in 10 years, so clearly they've shown growth. It's, oh no, look what they did 10 years ago. They're a horrible person forever because of this thing. And I don't know, it feels a little weird to me. It feels
certain
a little
people can dwell
uncomfortable.
on it. Like certain people can dwell on it, and like the internet's always going to remember. Like people are, there are always going to be people to like remind you of what you did wrong in life. But if she is showing signs of improvement, and maybe she is just an asshole, there are
She
people in
might
the
be an
wrestling
asshole.
business who are just dicks, and you can't really work around it sometimes. Maybe that's just their personality, but it is what it is. It's one of those situations where we kind of have to step back and let time tell.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying she didn't deserve to be fired, and I'm not saying she's not an asshole. I just wonder about the constant badgering that she is racist when I just feel like I don't see enough there to make me think, is she really a racist person, or did she fuck up one time and get better after that? I just don't see the history there, but I don't think any of us do, and I think especially the people who do say that definitely don't either. None of us are backstage with her, so we don't know what she's like in her personal life. So we have to base it off of the stories that we hear and the stuff that we read
Yeah.
and all that. What do you think, Kev?
I think it just goes like with everything else. You can, like you said, fuck up when you're younger, and you change. And it's not necessarily just with racism or anything like that. Like, if you drive drunk and wreck your car, does that mean you're a complete alcoholic? Or did you get behind the wheel one time, when you shouldn't have?
That's a fair analogy for that, honestly.
Yeah, I think that people.
It's one of those things where you let your anger go once in a while. Like there's like that one. That's like that one joke. Like, oh, everybody's racist in traffic. But I mean, if it's on a bigger scale like that, to where in wrestling, there's enough politics going on. Don't bring race into it. Simple as that. You can bring whether someone's exactly because it wasn't even about the race. It was about the person's wrestling skill, what was happening. I mean, it's completely irrelevant almost, to blame someone for being a certain color, for maybe even messing up in a match. Like if I for example, if I mess up and I botch a move and he goes, "Oh, that was because you're white," that's stupid. Or whatever other color. Like that's completely dumb, and that's where I think she had major backlash because of that. Because it was so irrelevant and so irrational and foolish.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that if all of us were judged by every word we had said 10 years ago, I think that there's a good chunk of the very people pointing their fingers that would have to go, yeah, but I don't do that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's possible to grow, and I think that immaturity is a real thing. And I do think that there are people who have never fucked up that way before. So I do think that there's a real sense of, yeah, you said that thing because you had a fucked up part of your heart that I've never had, so I don't understand it. Okay, I get that. Some people don't ever get to that point or ever have that in their heart to deal with. But the people who do, it's about how do they deal with it, or do they at all? Do they lean into it?
Everything differently.
Yeah. Do they lean into it and let it grow and become worse than they've ever been, or do they look at themselves in the mirror after having done that or said that and thought, "The fuck is wrong with me?" You know what I mean? Like.
See, I had one incident in a match where I'm not going to mention the match, but I had intentionally hurt my opponent because they were being very lazy with me and they were being very disrespectful to my moveset. And I felt, because he did it 3 different times, the situation to where I run across and I would do like a big splash, but this person I would be halfway across the ring and they would just casually walk away, where it wouldn't even leave me enough room to where, like, literally I could have stopped and looked at him and then he would have been like, just walking away casually. And I got really mad about it. So when I got this person with a clothesline and I sent on them, I put my elbows out and I just popped him in the mouth really quick with my elbow. Because I was mad. And after the match, I realized, like, wow, I could have really, like, shattered his nose or something like that. So we went to the back and we hashed it out. I explained to him, I'm like, yo, that's bullshit. This is laziness and I don't like this. We didn't bring any, any racist or anything like that or any bullshit like that. But it just shows you, like, there are particular moments in wrestling where you will get mad and you will show that side of you, like, that you don't want to bring out. But I mean, maybe it was just something like that where this person just got so mad about something that, that other side just came out.
Yeah, and they crossed a line, and from the sound of it, if they don't do it again, then they've potentially learned that, hey, I let a dark side of myself out that I will never again, and have
a dark side of the ring. But I
think
this motherfucker.
I think at the end of it all, when I look at it, I think the thing that makes me the most nervous for it all is that I don't see people looking for growth. I see people looking for vengeance.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bit that makes me a little bit nervous for where do we go moving forward if we're not allowed to grow or get better. You know what I mean? And at what point do they? You know what I mean? At what point do they accept it and say, "Oh, well, that was done right. This was done wrong." But I don't know, if people stop doing it, does it matter if it was the way you would have liked or not, as long as it stops? Like, I don't know.
Wrestling fans are one of the hardest to please. You can't. Nobody gets what they want from professional wrestling. Exactly.
That is why we drink.
And this is why alcoholism. But no, it's straight up like that. Where wrestling fans are never going to be happy if they get what they want. And if you meet a wrestling fan who's pretty satisfied with what they're given, they're still going to want some more. And that's just how it is.
Look at Roman Reigns. He was chosen by the fans. The fans wanted him. And they said, "Okay, we'll give you him on a platter." And he said, "Well, we don't want this."
Yeah.
We don't want this, Roman.
And that's why like I compare it to like
What was
last month
that?
I was like, damn, Star Wars fans and like wrestling fans are just like they're kind of similar. They're incredibly hard to please because
Yeah.
they give you what you want, and then I don't want that.
What did you say, Kev?
I was just saying we didn't want this Roman. We wanted
Yeah,
the other Roman.
Other Roman.
Yeah.
We didn't want the big dog. We wanted the big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want the big dog. We just wanted a regular Roman. It's the dog part I'm not into.
Yeah, you guys gave us a great day. We wanted like a fucking corgi or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Shit.
look, we liked him with the shield. We wanted him to dress the same and have the same music, but then he started saying all this dog stuff, and I don't know, man.
Start
Like,
barking
he
at me.
went
I was
too far.
really intimidated.
He went too far.
My kids started just going around the house barking and shit. I don't know what to do.
In other news, Cheers in Our Beers. I sent to you. Killer Tim Brooks.
What?
Killer Tim Brooks.
Killer Tim Brooks. Are you guys familiar with Killer Tim Brooks?
True legend. And also Keith Lee posted about him. But
Looks like
lost his battle with cancer. So
Killer Tim Brooks. Looks like they passed away today.
yep.
So tears in our beers and cheers for Killer Tim.
Cheers.
I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Yeah, Keith Lee said he was my
Rest in
birth,
power.
my knowledge, my prep, home when I was homeless.
Oh.
Had I not seen him when I did, I never would again. Thank you, Killer Tim Brooks, for training me. I love you.
Oh, he trained Keith Lee.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
You
That's
produced
crazy.
an amazing star and someone who's beyond talented.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gave him guidance for sure. So that's wild. Who was the other one you just said? Well, Carl Reiner passed away. That was a bummer.
Yeah.
Carl Reiner's gone. So tears in our beers for Carl Reiner. Always a reason to have another drink.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other thing you said?
That's all.
That's all.
Yep, that's all I have.
Was there anything more you guys wanted to touch on with the Tessa stuff? Do you think that so? With all that in mind, do you think that it would be a bad move? Because I've seen back and forth different people saying stuff.
Okay.
Does anyone think it would be a bad move to actually bring Tessa on?
Okay.
So,
I had to
NXT?
mute. I had to mute because there was a lot of noise happening for the guys.
Right, but you muted me too.
No, yours was going. It was.
What's going on? Who's making all that racket?
Kevin's
Me.
sitting here pouring a fucking drink again.
Yep.
Yeah,
pouring a drink?
it's very
Drink
loud.
out of the
Yep.
bottle, you coward.
And it's hot.
Yeah. Do you guys think it would be a bad move to bring in Tessa, or do you think it would be a good move? Realistically, when you look at her in-ring work, I think that any company would be lucky to have someone with that in-ring ability. But with all of this going on right now, is now a good time to do it. Because even you, Manzi, who are fully aware of a lot that's going on, are still under the impression that this is because of larger accusations when it wasn't. So it could definitely be painted in the wrong light real quick.
No. Right now, no. Wait for everything to calm down. Maybe give it a little bit more time. I think for her right now, the best thing for her to do is just relax. A lot of us wrestlers right now, I wouldn't say a lot of us wrestlers because everyone's a little bit different right now with their bookings. And, ICW New York is out here putting on shows in Jersey and everything else like that. But those guys that are being booked on TV and, being offered contracts, I think right now it's not a good thing for Tessa Blanchard to kind of do all that. I think maybe give it a little bit more time, wait for the COVID stuff to kind of relax a little bit more. If she needs it and she wants it, yeah, she can do it. But with how crazy things are right now and how tense things are in wrestling, I think it's best to kind of just give it a little bit of time, maybe a month or so, perhaps. I'm not going to really be.
I say she should get a cameo. Put that cameo down to like $20. See how much money she can make while she's just waiting in between stuff.
Yeah, either that or maybe start. I know she has a pro wrestling team she does pretty well on. She's in the top seller at least once a week or something.
Really? Her designs are not great, man.
They're not. Britt Baker's are a lot better. I didn't like Britt Baker's Kiss design though, but that's just me.
Yeah, I've disliked a lot of hers. Her newest one, I think, is a good design. That's the other thing, too, is I look at a lot of the shirt designs because I just like the shirts and I like to support the people. But so many wrestlers, I think, have designs that I just am not into. Like Seth Rollins. He hasn't had a good shirt since I've even seen him. Like, I like him, and I would just wish they'd put out a shirt that I would look at and say, oh, I'd wear that. And 100% of his shirts
He doesn't
are
have
awful.
control over that either, though. He doesn't have
No.
any,
Yeah.
Well,
none. The fun thing about us wrestlers is, we can do whatever the fuck we want. like when I made like my newest shirt, I did it based off of one that like Warhorse did, but I just like had my own little twist on it.
Yeah.
And even before that, I did like the Gordon Fisherman one, which was like my best seller. One
Yeah.
second.
That's a
Sorry,
good
hang
one.
on.
What's going on? What
He
the hell?
stepped away.
Kev, what about your... he just
Sorry,
walked away?
My father walked in. Hang on.
We got a new guest on the show. Mr. Manzi.
Yeah.
You have a disappointment in the family.
But what I was gonna say about Tessa is, to me it's almost obvious or looking like it that she's gonna go to AEW because of her dad and stuff like that. And I think it would, once again would be poor form if, she refuses to go to Impact and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, in a month we see her at Dynamite.
Yeah,
That's
I think
so
there's... I think that there's a lot to be said for her potentially ended up in NXT or WWE just because of the 4 horsewomen thing, and you have Natty and Charlotte there. You could have Natty, Charlotte, Tessa in all these lineage type storylines, which could be really good, and they're all great talent, so it could be very interesting. So I don't think that she doesn't have a place in NXT or WWE, but I do think that her dad's in AEW. The thing that I find most interesting about the concept of her going to AEW is the amount of AEW fans who are part of the blacklist everyone who's ever made a mistake camp.
Yeah,
I'd be
a lot of them,
interested
I feel
to
like
see.
they're like super edgy fans. Where, like they want what they want, and AEW kind of gives them what they want.
Yes, and I'd really be curious to see what happens if AEW brought in Tessa. And then Tony Khan put out his tweaks. That's how he does stuff. And he goes, after a lot of discussion, and she's really grown, and we want to give her a chance and all this. I would just love to see all the AEW fans start backpedaling, going, well, this is the right way to do it. This is it.
Yeah,
this is how you should be
If
done.
he agrees, bro, let's fucking let's just like give it a moment, guys. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, let it breathe. All right, come on. People get
figure
better,
this
and that's
one
what this is. Yeah. Where at the same time, these were the same people were saying it doesn't matter where she goes, that the company, whatever company brings her on, is wrong. I would just love to watch people backpedal. That's all I want.
That's all wrestling fans do. They wait for someone else's approval, and they just kind of go from there based off another person's opinion.
Yeah, this is it. This is one. John, run.
Just go.
Apart from Tessa, there was the referee in the David Starr video is a referee for NXT UK. He was let go, and Joe Kofi was also let go from NXT UK. That just happened a couple hours ago. I don't know, man.
I think it's coffee.
I thought it was
think it's coffee. I thought it was coffee, but I thought that there's no way it could be coffee, so I said it Kofi.
Joe Kofi. No, it's
no. Apart from that, I don't know of anybody else being let go during this week specifically. There was a lot of rumor going around with Velveteen Dream, and he hasn't been on TV since a lot of more accusations came out.
No.
Matt Riddle
Get
as
him
well
off
had a
TV.
few. Except Matt Riddle was on SmackDown this week.
Twice. And put into a
twice.
program.
I mean,
Put
we'll
him into a
talk
program.
about it, but yeah, well, they put him in a program the week before this week.
Yeah, and then this week as well, he made like a little cameo appearance.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that's all I've seen about that. Anything from you guys?
Nope.
More accusations against Velveteen Dream, and it's getting like a lot deeper and darker. That's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
It's
They just released that battle pack of Velveteen Dream and Ricochet together. What a bummer for Ricochet, man.
yeah, to be associated with that.
That's gonna plummet his fucking merch sales.
Really?
Oh,
Fucking
someone's getting.
I know. Breaking news, Patrick.
Real breaking news.
Yeah, this just in. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba, da.
My dumbass father's phone.
Yeah.
This motherfucker
June
is.
24th, is that the day?
What?
I guess it must be. I'm just confused at the highlights that I'm looking at for AEW, and I wonder how much did I pay attention?
Yeah, it's
Drink that much, dude. Stone Cold's beer must be fucking ridiculous if you don't know.
so what usually happens, producer here.
Pretty delicious.
What usually happens is Marsh is watching, and like I don't know, every 20, 30 seconds, he's just saying, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" He's just screaming at the at the show. So I think at times he takes a
Mark's
break.
watching AEW is the
because-
equivalent to a Browns fan watching the game.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
please.
Like, most of the time he's yelling and
Commercial
frustrated. So I think for a while it just has to tune it out.
It does feel a little bit like being like a Browns fan because you really want them to do well. You only tune in because you're like, okay, this is the week they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But then like you watch it and you're all like, come on, why?
What do you mean 90-0?
Yeah, what is this, a building year?
And I'm just in the other room.
Oh, the poor
like,
Browns.
Yeah.
Don't watch it if you don't want to.
to.
Yeah, I'm yelling. Don't watch it if you don't want to. He's like, I want to like it.
Yeah.
That's the thing
Please.
about I did this with Impact for fucking like, oh God, I did it with Impact from like 2014 to like 2018, to where I was like, wow, I like some of this show, and then like the other 95%, I was just yelling at my TV, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so upset with this.
Yeah. No, and I get it too.
Once
But I
they brought
do
in
think
Hogan, I was so mad.
I do think they're
bad.
getting better, but I do think that there's a lot of glaring things that just I look at and go like, "Fucking come on."
The company's 2 years old. I mean, that's with that being said itself, I mean, there's a lot of room for progression. They got a lot of time. They have a lot of time with TNT. TNT is more than flexible with them. They're bringing in ratings. They're bringing in viewers each week. You know, there's nothing that's like, they're not plummeting. You know, there hasn't been anything to where it's been like bad
That's
wrestling.
arguable.
It's not the wrestling. It's like, I believe it's more or less the storylines and the way they're using people that are kind of affecting them more than anything, you know? They have a tremendous amount of talent on the fucking show that I think are being underutilized.
I think that the problem really stems from, one, you could say that their ratings have plummeted when you look at their debut episode having over 2 million viewers, and now they're
Now
on
we're
a
like
week-to-week
600K.
basis between 6 to 700K is pretty average for them now. So they've lost a large chunk of their viewer, over half of the viewers that they originally had, and I think a lot of that stems from them not giving what they promised to deliver, and that was good TV. No, I'm playing. They're not
Pointless
giving out what they
aggression,
promised. Yeah, pointless aggression. They're not doing the whole wins and losses matter like they say. They say a lot of things
No,
and
which is
contradict
dumb.
themselves in the same episode. They're trying to say that it's a sports-based program, but it's a wrestling-based business, so it's storyline driven, which has nothing to do with the stats. It has to do with the important wins, and they're not showing that very clearly. They've done an absolutely piss poor job of explaining any of their rules, if they have any, and I think that they've made it really difficult for people who aren't into exactly what they're doing at the time to want to come back. They're also not doing any kind of like backup of, in case you haven't watched, here's what you should know about the Young Bucks. Here's why we say the Young Bucks are good. But they don't do that. They just say, oh, here's the Young Bucks, accept that they're the best ever, and watch them not be the best. And you're like, it's inconsistent.
That's what I like about like NXT. They have backstory behind the character, why they're so great, and why you should like them now. Then they let that person explain themselves necessarily in the ring, and they also build them a good promo package. And that is the difference between the two. That's the fucking $1 billion company versus the company like the little engine that could right now.
Well, I think the problem, or I think a lot of that stems from the little engine that could having a whole lot of engineers in there. So there's a lot of split vision.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, a lot of split vision.
Yeah,
You guys both watched AEW and NXT this week?
I did not watch AEW.
So did you? Okay, so Kev watched both. Manzi, did you watch NXT?
I watched the first half, but
Okay.
kind of in and out.
So I thought something interesting happened this week as far as ratings go, and we don't usually talk about the ratings unless there's something notable to talk about because I don't know shit about ratings, and they're always really close. They're always very, very close, and so I always think that the whole
apart, if not less.
Yeah, it's like 10 to 5,000 apart. Sometimes you're right. It sometimes look like you're like, is there a dozen difference? You're like, yeah, but AEW smoked them, and you're like, okay, but I don't get into the pettiness of that. I just look at like their averages. You know what I mean? Where are we at on an average basis? And this week NXT had 783,000 to AEW's 630. So it was 150. Wow. 150,000 difference pro NXT, And
Now,
that was
could
really
that
surprising
be-
to me.
Could that be because of the most recent controversies against the wrestlers, where fans kind of tune in and go, "Oh, I gotta see what's happening with this person now"? Could that be because of that?
You think that controversy with wrestlers would get people to want to watch the program with the most controversy or least?
Most, I believe, because they want to see how it unfolds. I believe,
The old train wreck
Eric,
thing?
Eric Bischoff said it most. Controversy creates cash.
Yep.
Which, I mean, I'm not condoning anybody's actions, but I feel like more people are kind of tuning in to see what happens to this person or to them. To see how they address it, perhaps.
I guess,
Yeah,
but
to see
NXT, I didn't think NXT had a lot of that, to be honest.
I feel like
With
everyone
Velveteen
has
Dream
something.
mostly.
Yeah, just the dream, but he hadn't been on TV in weeks. So you would just
Even
assume
then-
he's still not on.
Yeah.
Were you about
I
to
mean,
say
they
Kev?
had
No, I was just going to say the same thing, that maybe they're tuning in to see if they put Velveteen on TV, if they're going to address anything about it or just sweep it under the rug type of thing.
Huh, I don't know. I feel like that I would want to just know about it after the fact. Did Velveteen end up or no? You know what I mean? I don't think that I would want to know, or I don't think I'd watch an entire show hoping to see if something did or didn't happen. I mean, what if I blink?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of wrestling fans when they're so dedicated with NXT. NXT has a cult-like fan base, and I think everybody knows that, to where a lot of people are very dedicated to that brand. And I mean, I personally, if I maybe had not known as much as I do now, the only reason I didn't watch as much wrestling this week is because of all the drama going on. Where I needed to step back and be like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I don't want to look at the screen right now because I don't want to see another train wreck. Then when I turned on NXT, I saw Trevor Lee, I think it is, which his new character is what?
Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, I can't get I don't know how to feel about that.
About his new character?
Yeah, I don't understand it probably. I mean,
How
maybe I
different
haven't
was it
watched
than
enough.
he did in, how different is he from Trevor Lee?
I think Trevor Lee was more like a caveman ordeal, and this was more like a southern rough and tough like Texan ordeal. That's the vibes I'm getting.
He was more of
I
a
don't know.
caveman ordeal?
Yeah, you
And,
prefer
yo,
the
and-
caveman?
I did, because at least he made fun of your faces, other than walking out there acting like he's gonna fucking tell me to like eat some Copenhagen and then beat my wife.
I don't know how to feel about this.
I don't even know
I
how
feel like when he
to
was a
like-
caveman, it was easier to buy into. I feel like I really thought of him more as a caveman type. But the idea of him being a smug asshole southerner, I'm just not feeling it at all.
I'm not.
Not into today's climate.
I haven't watched him enough to form an opinion, so I'm just spitballing at this point and being a dick.
Which is fine. I also think that it's funny that it's like it was described as sort of a caveman ordeal.
yeah.
Like I think I can understand why they told him it needs to change. I think I
yeah.
understand that
He didn't have a
conversation happened
character.
immediately. Hey, look, Encino, man. There's a way we
Yeah.
do things here on
Listen to your
NXT.
captain say, no, we don't need to poke anybody's eye anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was, to be honest, just because when I look at both shows side by side, I don't see enough promotion of one thing versus the other to make me go, oh, people wanted to see that. Except for maybe Keith Lee, Gargano, and Balor in the triple threat for the North American title. Apart from that, this was the go-home show for Fyter Fest. Well, let's just talk about AEW, and then I'll talk about all the funny stuff I think NXT did about Great American Bash. Kev, what did you think about AEW this week?
I thought it was a lot better than last week's, just because, like I said, last week it was just tag team throughout,
Yeah.
and I think this week showed a little more storyline and a little more character building and stuff like that, even though they do very little of it. But I thought, like I said, I think it was better than last week's.
I think so, too. I thought FTR and SCU was pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's funny that the commentary has to keep going back to look at these guys following rules and remember this rule or that, where with other ones it's all like, oh yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
That's probably the greatest thing they've done. I mean,
funny.
Hold on,
they've been
guys.
amazing,
Step
but I
away
love the
real quick.
concept of their tag team. I really like the concept of the tag team where they're following the rules now. And when I watched them 2 weeks ago, I noticed it so much, and I sat there, and I was like, oh, okay, this is starting to make sense now, to where these guys are following the rules now. They're doing everything a little bit differently, which it's great. I love originality in wrestling because there's so little of it.
Kevin
There's
had
so
a
very,
statement.
very little. I mean, that's why Matt Hardy's gimmick blew up because it was original and it was different.
Yeah. Well, Matt Hardy's gimmick, it's
All right.
blew up when? TNA or here? What are you doing?
TNA. It blew up in. I mean, yeah, it blew up in TNA after he started doing it for like 4 weeks and then people started catching on.
What are you muting? In the TNA stuff, yeah, because it was really different. I think it's funny that his whole gimmick now in AEW is that it's not different at all. It's
Like a
all of his
split
other
personality
stuff.
disorder, kind of.
Yeah. I don't like the way that it's been portrayed just yet, but it's not because I don't think there's any potential there. I don't know. I haven't bought into the transitions the way he's done them at this point.
Yeah.
I think I would agree, producer here. I would agree with Manzi. It does feel a bit schizophrenic and
Which can go greatly. I think Matt Hardy has all the potential of pulling it off. I love the fact when he sees Sammy, he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? I respect you. I like you." And then Sammy's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he just like, I wish he would add a little bit more like a twitch into it, like where he's triggered by a certain word or a certain action to where like he'll like have like a moment and then he'll pop into broken Matt Hardy, which he slightly does.
Well, honestly, when I saw Bray Wyatt's switch of his multiple characters, I remember I turned to Marsh and I just said, why does this feel more comfortable than Hardy's?
Yeah.
Like, because they're doing essentially a similar thing in that they, multiple characters. But I'm like, why am I more comfortable with this than Hardy's? Like, Hardy's feels so abrupt to me, and I want to get into it, and I'm not there yet.
I almost feel that it's so in your face of. It almost seems like this, is that with Bray Wyatt, he's doing a transition between very dynamic characters that will reference them as other entities. Where with Matt Hardy, he's very much talking about them and acting about them as though they are fluid gimmicks throughout his career and something he can just be that gimmick now. Like he doesn't talk about it in a sense of personality. He talks about it in a sense of presentation. And I think maybe that's part of it.
You hit the hammer right on the nail there. That was a perfect explanation of that, actually. Bray Wyatt has like entities. Like Sister Abigail can take over like Bray Wyatt necessarily and turn him into something,
Mm-hmm.
For those listening, don't actually take a nail and hit a hammer and think that that's what you're
No, do that.
It'll do it.
Do the absolute
It'll work.
opposite.
Okay.
It'll work.
Yeah,
It'll
you
work.
will absolutely either break your thumb or break something. Something will happen.
Yeah.
Don't let your dreams be dreams, kids.
Yeah.
Listen to the scumbag.
Did Kev grab his phone when he jumped up?
I believe so. I couldn't see though.
Okay.
He just kind of.
He is on call tonight, so there's a possibility he gets a call from his work and has to run off.
Yeah, we do have a frontline worker right here.
Yeah.
On the show. So.
Who is he? Wow. Good for him, man.
Yeah. So, because I was going to ask him a bit more about how he thought about AEW, especially he doesn't get to watch it very often, and he's been watching it lately.
Yeah.
I was wondering how he felt a little bit about
Now
the
you're stuck
Taz
with me.
stuff. Well, you didn't watch it.
Yeah, I felt a little discouraged, most likely. But I've been excited to hear about Taz.
Yeah, my only issue with it is that I think Brian Cage is such a good character. I wish that I thought we were building a Cage match, and it feels like we're building a Taz match, and Cage just happens to be there. He seems so secondary in everything he's doing. I wish.
Yeah. I thought you meant like an actual cage match. I'm like, why are we putting Brian Cage in a cage? This is not funny.
Yeah, Cage squared.
Yeah, Brian Cage himself, I mean, from all the way from Lucha Underground up until now, I mean, it's one of those guys that he can talk for himself. And you'll listen.
Mm-hmm.
Based off his sheer body and presence, you will listen to what he has to say. Maybe it's that, maybe he's just going based off of someone's recommendation, Let's try this out. Maybe it won't work in a month or two where maybe Brian will turn on Taz and Taz will just get fucked up.
Maybe. I think just right now I'm a little bummed by it because I was really excited to see the two together, and I thought they could really bounce off each other. And it really feels like Cage is kind of secondary to everything going on. He even seems almost like a fan for Taz when Taz is doing stuff or saying stuff. He's just kind of like, I like.
He looks like
Taz
he's just kind of out of place a little bit, like where he's just like scolding the camera. When I think of Brian Cage, I don't think of someone who's just sitting there letting someone talk for them. I'm thinking he's that guy that's going to rip the mic out of your hand and say, "Back off. This is what I'm going to say," like a brute.
Yeah. And Taz just released another new shirt because of his gimmick he's been doing on the show, and it's like, whose shirts are we trying to sell?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like Taz. I like Taz a lot, but
Same.
I don't know that
Great-
this is
Great
this
commentator,
is-
great wrestler.
yeah, and I think he could be a great promo, but I think that he's. I mean,
Not for Brian Cage.
he talked about
Not
it.
for
He
Brian
talked
Cage.
about it with Samoa Joe when he was a manager for Samoa Joe in TNA. He talked about how it didn't work because Joe didn't need him to talk, and he talked about how he knows he wasn't a great manager at putting over Joe anyways.
Yeah.
Like, he talked about it on his show, and now he's like, "Oh, I'll do it for Cage," but he's not. He's talking. He's putting himself.
Maybe it's
over
out
it.
of his hands. Maybe it's out of his hands where, it's somebody else. Because I feel like Taz understands the business more than we give him credit for. Maybe it's out of his hands to the aspect of where he's just doing what people are telling him, and he's at that point where money is money, and he's just trying to roll with the punches and trust a company that's relying more on wrestlers than it is on upper management.
I think that I give him credit for knowing way more about the business than we are giving him credit for what we're seeing on TV.
Yeah.
I think that because I used to listen to his podcast all the time,
Yeah.
and you heard a shift when you could tell he started talking to AEW. Because
Yeah.
he used to talk about how all these things they were doing, it just wasn't right. And all of a sudden, one episode, he goes, "Oh, everything here is amazing. They're doing everything so great. Every character
Maybe that's just
so
his
well thought
perspective
out."
of going there.
I think that there was I think you could tell he was pining for the job. I think he wanted it, and I think that he goes there now, and yes, whatever you want, Mr. Khan. And I think that there's also the idea of no one in the back is in charge, and so, Taz, go do whatever you want. We trust you to do the thing, and he goes out there and cuts a promo because that's what he's used to, but there's no overarching vision of someone saying, you got to say this about Cage, and you got to get this thing across about Cage. They're just saying, go make the Cage and Moxley match seem exciting. But he's making the match sound like it's a Taz and Moxley match.
So it just sounds
Which,
really
if it turns into that, that's way better.
That'd be good.
Sounds really visionless.
Yeah.
And not completely his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a lack of creativity and the lack of direction, which I think AEW has, again, too many cooks in the kitchen, man. Way too many cooks in the kitchen. Either get someone on board who's going to fucking direct the company in the right way, or you're going to make like WCW did, and you're going to stick a shit. You're going to shit in the bed. And you're
I didn't like them. I didn't like them putting Brody Lee and Colt Cabana together. I feel like that looks messy.
I mean, Colt Cabana, I think he I like his work, but I like him more as an entertainer. And I think he could put on very entertaining matches with enhancement talent and put the enhancement talent over. If he wants to like introduce other people into that. But like creatively, like what are we going to do with Colt Cabana? Why is Colt Cabana here? He's done weird cameos, and then next thing you know, he's wrestling. Oh, now he's making an appearance in Chicago. Okay, now he's a part of the company. I'm okay with this, but I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah. Well, I also think that he's more of a standalone character.
Yeah.
I don't think he has. I could understand him being in a tag team. I kicked my table.
He just broke his foot.
I could understand if he was in a tag team, but the Dark Order is not conducive to just anyone being a part of it. It's really specific.
No, it's not one of those things where it's like NWO kind of like where they'll just add people just to grow their numbers. No, they're being very particular about the people they're adding.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good. I like the addition of when they added like Johnny Silver and Alex Reynolds. I've watched Johnny Silver in person as well because he's a representative of NYWC. Johnny Silver, I've watched him literally since he debuted in 2006, to where he came out and had like some spiky ass hair. Then he was a CZW World Champion, and then he was a part of the Beaver Boys with him and Rex Lawless. So I mean, like, to see a lot of local guys like him and Alex Reynolds just be a part of something like that is a very feel good situation. But it's slightly disappointing because like I didn't know how to feel about it. So I'm like, wow, these guys are two great wrestlers, but now they're kind of just in the group. They're not the leader of the group,
Yep. Yeah, they're and not only that, but wearing masks and stuff. Like if you thought the NWO was hard to keep track of, Dark Order with everyone wearing masks, you really are faceless now. You really are the secondary.
And that's why it's either building people up or kind of just putting people aside.
Exactly. Did you see the Fyter Fest conference they did with Cody and Jake Hager?
I saw a clip of it on Twitter, and it was interesting enough to where I kind of sat there and I understood more. I wanted more of it. I wanted more of Jake Hager.
1 sec.
Wait a second. Do we got Kevlar coming back?
I'm back. What's up,
He's
guys?
back.
Welcome back.
You
brother.
made it.
What did I miss?
I had to mute us because that was a lot of sound.
Well,
Yeah.
I can fix it in post.
Okay.
That's what I say about our live show.
Nancy. Sorry.
Kevlar,
What's up?
how you doing, man? How's it been?
Good. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Yeah, so let's see. I was talking a little bit about how I don't like Hulk Cabana with the Dark Order. That seems messy to me. What do you think about that?
It's weird and nice to me. Like his, I don't know much about either, but it just his vibe doesn't feel like it fits with it.
All right,
Like, what
seems
do you
way
think
out
of
of
Colt
place.
Cabana? Like, could you put a mask on Colt Cabana? Realistically,
Yeah,
could
maybe.
you?
Yeah.
There's one answer to that, Kev. He said, no, you don't put a mask on Colt Cabana. Unlikable.
What do you think about Taz's work with Brian Cage? Do you think he's doing a good job of putting over Cage, or do you think he's doing a better job of putting over himself?
It seems like he's working more for himself on that. Like,
It's weird,
I don't know.
right?
It's weird. I don't. Like I said, I don't know much about Cage, but the little that I've seen, it seems like he's just Brock Lesnar to Paul Heyman type of thing. But
Yeah.
Paul Heyman has more. Hey, look at me! I'm doing this.
Well, Paul Heyman's not putting over himself. That's the difference here.
Well, that's what I meant.
Like,
I meant
yeah.
to say Taz. Like, hey, look at me! Look at look at what I have to offer. I also have this podcast or shows. I was this.
Yeah.
And,
Don't forget, I'm a tough guy. Where Paul Heyman's got nothing to prove. Paul Heyman's not a tough guy. I don't want to ever be in a fight. Paul Heyman
Yeah,
goes.
I love
Taz
Paul
is like
Heyman's
if
promo because he'll never engage. He'll just talk all that shit. Then once the wrestler comes in, he's immediately that little weasel where he hides behind his guy. And it's
yeah,
awesome 'cause
Weasley
it
is
works.
shit. Yeah, but Taz comes out and he's like, if Cage doesn't beat the shit out of you, you know I will. I mean, that's the attitude, and you're like, well,
I think your neck says otherwise.
yeah, hold on.
I think your injuries say otherwise, my guy. I don't know about this.
Yeah, I'm skeptical that he's not doing it just because he's out there told to do whatever he wants and he's given no
if
direction.
he does
so it's
end up
kind of-
doing it, though, our opinions can change in a few weeks. They could pull the trigger on Taz. And he can wrestle. If that happens,
if he does,
I will
I'm
lose
in.
my shit and I will be all for it.
yeah.
What do you think about the conference, Kevlar? The conference with Cody and Jake Hager.
I like the idea of it. I just think the execution was just not there.
That's
It
why
was,
I said I wanted more out of Jake Hager.
yeah, well, that, and it was so weird because, they like underneath Cody's skin, and Cody kept holding everyone else back.
Yeah,
He's like, I got
and
you.
Brandy
being
did
attacked.
nothing to defend him.
Yeah. It's
Like, where was Brandy? She was
Yeah,
like back there, and he's all
absolutely.
like, "Oh, hold on, this woman threw water in my face. It's cool." And she goes, "Oh, well, if he thinks it's cool, then I guess it's cool."
I mean,
no.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's supposed to be, to me, it was supposed to be like the face off.
Yeah.
They did their pose and stuff like that. And, a lot of times you see somebody slap the other guy's hands and they start pushing each other. It's whatever. But then Cody, was just like, stop, guys. I got this. It's like, you're supposed to be the one being held back.
Yeah.
Like they tried being the UFC but did it backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jake, I
And
don't know what part of UFC you were in or what underground fight club you were in, but this is not how it goes. You guys did it backwards.
And I absolutely hate how he keeps bringing up that the belt's unfinished.
Yeah.
The what?
I love it. I
The
love that
belt
he keeps
is
going like, the
unfinished.
belt's not done. It looks this
Yeah.
ugly because of accidents.
Yeah. It's not done yet. It's only a half
It's the most hideous fucking belt. And that's just it. They put out a picture of what it's supposed to look like when it's done, because it's supposed to have like brass on it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same belt, man, on the same gross
look that
red. I never liked the Universal title being on a red strap. Remember we talked about it all the time, Kev?
Mm-hmm.
This is the same
it-
ugly red.
It slightly grew on me, but yeah, I agree.
I got used to it, but I never liked it. Once the Universal turned blue, I started looking at replicas for the blue. I've never considered buying a red replica. Matter of fact, when Toys R Us was going under, they had the not the replicas, but the commemorative ones, the plastic ones. Like I have the men's World and the women's Raw. They had the same one in the Universal, and it was down like to 25% of the original cost. It was less than $100, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. I said this title is just ugly, and it has no lineage that I care about. I couldn't do it.
I hate the spinner belt. I fucking hate the spinner belt. That's my least favorite belt. I like the U.S. spinner belt, but once they like started using like the normal one, I hated the concept of it. I really did.
Wait, Edge's spinner belt, Miz's spinner belt, or Cena's spinner belt?
Cena's. Sorry, I should have been more specific. Miz's was very funny. I like Miz's a lot.
Okay, so see what I did there is I hooked you into proving you're a hypocrite.
Absolutely.
Got him.
I can.
Got him.
Here's the thing here, Jack.
Yes.
And that was today's show. See you later.
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
Just walked away. He's back.
Yeah.
They were different variants. I didn't like the way the logo was then for that one.
All right.
The Edge's one looks better. Okay. Listen here.
I'm not a huge
fan.
I'm not a huge fan of the spinner belts myself. I actually hate the United States one. It looked like a dime that spun. I thought it was gross. And I get it too. I also understand that it was very timely. It made a lot of sense for what was going on in the world in general with all the spinning and everything. And I thought it was perfect for their characters. But looking at it and looking back on it, I go, yeah, I don't want to copy that. No. You know?
Yeah.
The cool one
now maybe because it's cool because it's kind of like a collector's item.
Yeah. What was that, Kev?
I said the cool belt was the toy spinner ones, because they came out with one that had like not an LED screen, but like a little screen on it, and you could change which spinner belt you wanted.
That's cool.
Really?
Yeah, there was a bunch of great merchandise for all that.
Yeah, there was. Fuck. I remember as a kid in like 2006 or 2005, like they had like the plastic little like Rey Mysterio belts, little foam ones. I don't know why I always marked out for that one.
That's cool. I finally got myself a foam hardcore title,
Nice.
that they had for the kids. I got it signed by Mick Foley, and I put it in a big gaudy. Like, I got one of those like expensive ones from the shop where you put like a real title in it, and it's for the Universal title, so it's got like the red velvet behind it and all that. And I put the foam hardcore belt in there. Mm-hmm. I spent the extra money because I thought it would be funny to have such a shitty looking toy belt inside such a nice display, and I was right. It's hysterical.
Tucson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Although he signed it with the blue Sharpie, so it's a little hard to see. But
it's a little hard to see at first glance. I wish it was one of the
silver.
Ones,
I know you got a picture
whatever.
with them, I believe, right? You got the whole picture ordeal and everything like that?
Yeah, I did the thing.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. So I'm not going to buy a TNT replica title. End of story.
No, you're going to do. I'm going to, with the pay I'm going to give you for your work you did for me, I'm just going to buy you a TNT replica title when they come out and just send it to your house. Just to watch you throw it away.
Go.
Just to watch you throw it away.
Well, I got that replica AEW title from Pakistan for clout as soon as it came out. I did do a video for Iron Manzi, so check out his social medias as well. And
that was, dude,
and take a look.
The grin on my face when I watched that, it was awesome.
Yeah, I spent a good 5 hours sitting on it and being like, by the end of it, I was all like, this is pretty cool. I sent it to my brother, and I was like, what do you think of this guy? And he goes, this guy looks like a badass. And I was all like, yeah, he does.
In the back of your head, like, he's a really shitty wrestler.
Yeah, I was like, you should see the amount of footage I have of him getting his ass kicked.
So much of it, dude. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you get fucking thrown around the whole thing, and I was like, well, I can use this bit to make him look good.
It's like 90% of my matches. I love it.
Yeah.
To explain, like, okay, this is one thing I hate. Just because you're fat doesn't make you a big man. I'm 5'8". I'm not a big man. Y'all better quit telling me that. Like, I hate the mentality of when I go to a show, it's like, oh, you're the big guy here. You shouldn't do this. No, I'm going to do a front flip, land it perfectly, and be totally fine. And you people are going to be wowed because I can do it. I mean, like, me and Aaron Andrews have the very same, like, mentality with that, like, where I'll let, like, a small dude suplex me because I don't feel like I'm a big man necessarily. Like, I know I'm overweight and obese, that's fine. But I don't like the idea of being considered a big man because I'm short, you know? And, like, a lot of my matches, I'll just get beat up and thrown around because I like to kind of throw people off a little bit with that. But I understand some of the vets are like, that's not proper psychology, which I agree with, but I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you
bothers me.
this. I think they're telling you wrong. It's not that you're a big man. It's that you're a mean heel. And
Yeah, I
the way
shouldn't get
you
my
shine
ass
up a
whooped the whole time.
babyface, exactly. You should be whipping the shit out of the babyface, getting the crowd behind the babyface. And what's happening is the babyface is kicking your ass the whole time. You get a little bit of shine, and then they win. No one gets the time to be that invested. Where if you go out there and you're an asshole.
That's current training now. They were telling me about, like, when we were watching a lot of my matches back. They're like, yeah, you're doing this all wrong. And that just shows you with High Impact Wrestling's training, not to discourage the company, but it's not proper. It's a lot of the guys are, everything's a little bit backwards. They don't explain more or less match psychology. They just show you the moves and then go, okay.
And then they try to put themselves over. I've talked about it before. I think of them, and I like them, obviously, for a lot of things. Yeah. I think of them as the open mic of wrestling. If you need to get inside of a ring and you need to feel what it's like to be in front of people, they will give you a ring you can do that in. But if you're trying to learn how to do it the right way, you've got to go to other places and bring it to them. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, if you're learning how to play the guitar, you go to a guitar tutor, but then you find an open mic to play it. And that's really what I look at with them, is that you gotta train somewhere outside of them, and then you go to them to practice, And
that's where, I kind of started, after, like, my career started going up a little bit. Like, I started realizing, like, I can utilize this place after learning so much. And then, a lot of guys were like, oh, he's booked everywhere. And I'm like, you guys can be too if you do it the right way.
Exactly.
It's not.
And I've talked about that before, and I've even talked to some of those guys about it before, but no one thinks I know anything about the business because I'm just the ref there and I don't show up to every single thing and I don't go to all the trainings. And I'm like, yeah, because there's a reason for that. But I think it's evident if your teachers are saying that I'm correct, that I know way more than they.
It's not discouraging the company. Again, it's just a matter of
I love them. They need to be out there. We need open mics for wrestling. But
we do. And
how are you going to learn?
Those guys, it's a lot of politics in that company too. I remember one particular moment where I was supposed to win the Tucson City Champion, and I got politic out of it, and then only to watch that person get pretty much belittled after the match. They had losing that title and then putting someone else over, then they buried that character as they won the belt. And I just remember that person walking in the back and getting bitch slapped for it. And I was just like, see, if you put the belt on me, that would have went 10 times better.
No, it would have gone like that.
Yeah, I was so mad because it was just the perfect setting that day, and then it just got politic out of my way. That's just me being a bitter scumbag. But moving on.
It's all right though. It's all right. Was there anything else about AEW you wanted to touch on, Kev?
They had the worst ever lumberjack match.
Talk about it.
I mean,
tell us. Do tell.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. I mean, they
jackass.
They had guys around the ring, but it was only on two sides, and no one tried to keep anyone in. They didn't even attack the other people like you see.
It's like working on that one part of the ring. Like, all right, no one bump on the side of the fucking ring. Everyone go on the side of the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like one board that was loose.
Yeah. Avoid that board.
Yeah.
You'll see it when you walk out there, but you're gonna want to avoid that.
Yeah. How many times I fucking heard that?
Dude, after the big storm, remember or were you there for the one after the big storm,
yes,
where one of the boards broke in half? Because it's all wet, and then they're like, all right, we'll put this one on the side, just avoid the left side, and you'll see it poking out a little bit, try not to hit it.
Yeah, me and you looked at each other, because I went to fucking Chaos, I was like, how are we going to do one side of the ring? He goes, yeah, you're right.
Well, let me see if I got another board then. But, yeah,
John doesn't have
I love that shit.
Boards.
That's what it looked like with a lumberjack match.
You can only stay on these two sides, no one was camera side, and...
Yeah, which is dumb. If you're not on the camera side, that's foolish.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it was just... What?
I'm sorry? It was just what?
I was just saying, it was just poorly executed.
Yeah.
It's been really weird to me. All the gimmick matches they put together that are based off of rules that we already know, I feel like a lot of them are done really weird and poorly, where it's like, maybe they're so concerned about doing it themselves. I mean, I guess this is my confusion. They have Dean Malenko They have Arn Anderson. They have Tully Blanchard. They've got Dustin Rhodes. I mean, they've got Cody
Creatively?
Rhodes. Who are they not listening to?
Okay, hold on. Are we talking creatively? They have these people like as agents of matches or just bookers?
Agents, as far as producers, they're all involved in that. Billy Gunn. Is my understanding. Otherwise, why the fuck do you have Dean Malenko backstage if he's not telling people how matches should look?
Mm-hmm.
Of all people, yeah, this man put on consecutive 5-star matches, and it's hard to get one. He had consecutive.
Beyond that, so I was even backstage at a local show here in Tucson for the SmackDown roster. I remember the main event was AJ Samoa Joe, so it was during that time frame. So it was a couple years back. When I went back there, Arn Anderson was side of the ring, like right off of the curtains, giving people a bunch of information. And Malenko was backstage talking to everyone as they walked out to their match and everyone when they walked back into the match, telling them what they did right, what they did wrong, what should have been better. What's happening at AEW where these people aren't getting coached as to how a lumberjack match should look? You have the people.
Mm-hmm.
You have them. Or are you guys just not listening? Or is the mentality there such that, hey, this is a different type, you guys really wouldn't know it because it's so different from anything you've ever seen, and they're sitting back saying, okay, then that's fine, you guys run with it. Like, I mean, I don't know what's happening back there, but I'm confused.
Someone's going to have to pull back the reins, man. Eventually, someone's going to have to kind of pull back on the reins of the horse, and go, okay, hold up. Yeah,
Could
like
you say that last line, Marsh? Sorry, there was I can only hear one person at a time, and so I just want to make sure the podcast hears the end of what you were saying. I didn't make.
I think all I said at the end was that I just don't understand what's going on. I just don't get it. If you have that talent and people who are that into the booking of it all and how the psychology actually works, where's the failure?
Where's the correction of the failure? More likely,
Yeah.
Because again, that's what I was just saying. Like, there's only so much leash you can give, before you pull back and choke up a little bit and go, okay, wait, hold up. You tried, but let's correct you.
I'm wondering if it really is going to take an issue with their ratings for them to actually say, okay, maybe we're doing something wrong.
Why let it get to that point? Why let it get to the point of failure? I mean, again, yeah, everybody, you have to try in order to fail, and then you have to fail in order to succeed, which is fine. But if you have the option not to fail, don't fucking do it. Don't lose money.
Well, see, I think they have like the mirage that they're executing and they're doing it right. I think they've surrounded themselves.
The modern day Maharaja.
Yeah, I think they've surrounded themselves. I said I think they've surrounded themselves with so many yes men that they just no one's there telling them like, no, this is wrong, do it this way, and they just, hey, we're doing it.
Which isn't a bad thing in wrestling, but it's not a good thing either. Because again, you have to kind of choke up a little bit in order for someone not to get in over their head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because what was it? Their ladder match was kind of like that. Their fake Money in the Bank match. That
was a weird match, but it was good.
Yeah, that one came off really weird. Even the Moxley Kenny Omega death match came off really weird. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think that there's definitely too many cooks in the kitchen. I think there's definitely.
If Moxley's just gonna do death match, let him do the death match. Put a label on that bitch.
Yeah. Let them do the thing, but if they can't do it, then they can't do it. That's the other thing. Don't force people to try and do something they can't do.
Yeah.
Kevlar.
I feel like Kenny is one of those guys that's going to do it.
Kevlar, how are you liking FTR?
I like them. I think it's pretty cool that they're trying to establish the rules, like Marsh said, and this is the right way to do it. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think there's a crowded tag division there right now, and I'm just afraid they're going to get, lost in the shuffle somewhere down the line.
Not with them. I can disagree with that. I think those are the kind of guys that the fans are going to get behind more than anything because they're so innovative.
Well, I agree with Manzi in that I think that it would be absolutely stupid to let them get left behind. But I also understand exactly where Kevlar is coming from with the amount of people they brought in with hype. and the amount of people who could go places, and then the amount of times they just go, fuck it, we don't know what to do anymore, so move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's see. Did you guys watch? Was there anything? The Lumberjack match was the last thing you want to talk about over there. Did you guys both watch NXT?
Oh, wait.
What?
AEW, wasn't there like a slip-up commentary with Nyla Rose?
Oh, Shivani. As they're getting ready for the Fyter Fest, he said that Nyla Rose was in a match, and said Nyla Rose, former woman champion, and he goes, women's champion. Like, it was a slip up of the tongue. He was just trying to say former women's champion, and he accidentally said former woman. And you could hear him say it and become mortified immediately. And he just wanted JR to punch him in the face and knock him out. Like, you could just tell. So I just started laughing because you could tell. He knew, and he was like, fuck me, Twitter's going to kill me. And he's like, and I was like, it's all right, man. It's a slip up. It's fine. To me, it's fine. But I mean, you never know what people jump on.
Because Shivani's one of those guys that you have to kind of trust his judgment that he's not one of those people, man. He's where he's just going to belittle other people of that community. He's a nice guy.
He is. However, have you listened to his show, his podcast?
No. So
his
I could say I'm on
whole
the
show is inappropriate jokes. So I could see him being misinterpreted as well.
Okay, that's fair.
But at the same time, I don't think he has that in his heart. No. I
feel like he's one of the good people in wrestling, where he's controversial, nonetheless.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was really cool seeing him at Starcast. To me, he was kind of the voice of Starcast, even though they said it was Sean Mooney. Sean Mooney was super present and awesome, but I felt like I just kept ending up at things with Shivani hosting it. So, I don't know. It was really cool. It was just cool to see him walking around and see him in a good spirits and see him back now and happy and no longer making coffee. But apart from that, so Fyter Fest, Manzi, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Maybe you can tell us your thoughts real quick. They're making Dynamite Fyter Fest for 2 weeks. How do you feel about this week of Dynamite being called Fyter Fest Part 1 and next week of Dynamite being called Fyter Fest Part 2, and them saying Fyter Fest pay-per-view is just too big for one night, so they have to make it 2 nights, but it happens to be going on the network at the same time that their weekly show would be on otherwise, instead of being a pay-per-view on
I have
BR
a fucking headache
like they
thinking
did
about
before.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you describing this was like,
Wow.
This is why we drink.
It's a headache. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly why we drink.
Cheers.
Man, why? Absolutely why? I mean, I can't have a start point with this without sounding like a total douchebag. As to, you fucked up from the beginning. Why'd you make it worse, you know? You started off with chicken shit, and then you just absolutely made it into a slightly worse chicken shit than it was.
it reminded me, sorry, producer here real quick. When I heard the advertisement, I want to say they said it's too big for one night. And I just looked over at Marsh and I said, do we have to copy everything from our competitor? I mean, come on, man.
It's
just necessary.
Again, like,
so
it's
funny.
one of those strategies where, like, oh, if you can do it, I can do it better. That's not the way you should stand out. If you want to stand out, do it your own way, yes.
So funny. We're too big for one night. Are you?
Like,
Oh.
like I understand the strategy, but number one, you're smaller. 2, newer. So pick a different strategy. Like we've been saying this for the year we've been on from the very start.
Try something different. Don't be afraid to fail with that.
Well, be yourself.
I hope they say the next one's going to be in your home. I hope so bad.
In your condo.
Yeah.
At your home.
Yeah, at your home.
At your residence.
In your beach house. In your mom's basement.
At your residence.
In
At your
residence.
This week on AEW Dark, at your residence.
All right, sorry to cut you off, Manzi.
Which leads us into directly to NXT, which their response to Fyter Fest, too big for one night, to me is hysterical, because this is what I wanted from the beginning. This is where the Monday Night Wars to me were spectacular. This is why the whole time Nitro and Raw were on TV, me and Kevlar would be on the phone with each other, screaming about what was happening on the other channel, trying to figure out which one to be on. Mm-hmm. So NXT all of a sudden announced, we're also going to be having a 2-night pay-per-view 2 weeks consecutively on our regular program. So NXT TV is going to be called Great American Bash, which is also hysterical because they're like, oh, you want to have a two-night thing on your... Well, we'll just take your dad's show. And so they take Dusty's Great American Bash.
It's the ultimate, like, checkmate. It's immediately knocked over their king. Boom, eat shit.
Yeah. I feel like they had said Fyter Fest is too big for one night, and Triple H is like, Oh, I wasn't paying attention till then. We can fix that. And, like, walks over and just goes, all right, we're putting on the Great American Bash the next 2 weeks because Great American Bash is too big for one night.
I couldn't hear you with the sound of my balls in your mouth. Straight. Cody looked at him and was like, okay, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
It reminds me
of ultimate Uno reverse card.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
It just reminded me of when Triple H came back with that line. Yeah, because my balls are so big, she has to carry them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't know how... He's like, yeah, carrying around balls that heavy can be quite taxing. You might not know what that's like, but sometimes you need someone's help. Like...
Kind of just, like, nudge Dusty's grave, like, hey, I'm just going to fuck with you a little bit.
Yeah, hey, sorry, man.
He's being a douche.
Yeah, it was so funny. And that pettiness, that level of pettiness is so fucking hysterical.
That's exactly what it is.
It's all it is. It's strictly pettiness. Oh, you've renamed your weekly show? Well, I can rename it. Oh, you think that you have the same slogan as WrestleMania? Oh, we'll just use a name you maybe heard before. Like,
it's that ultimate, like, do not touch you sign. Triple H is just sitting there with his finger on, like, right there, like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
I'm not touching you. I can do this. So funny.
It's a very feel-good moment for wrestling, to where, like, all this crap is happening, and, like, you kind of look at that. Triple H, like, I'm imagining him kind of, like, sitting on his couch. He looked at his TV and just called up Vince, like, hey, want to see me piss off Cody?
Yeah. Let's see. What did you guys think of NXT?
Good. It was alright.
Yeah, I had no complaints about NXT. I
really like seeing Casey and Caden together. Casey Canizaro and Caden Carter
Express.
together against Dakota Kai. Yeah, the KC Express. Them against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I like seeing both of those teams kind of develop as something.
Raquel is growing on me. Her in-ring has gotten a lot better. Like, you can tell she's been putting in some overtime.
Yeah, for sure. All four of them are looking better than I've seen them in a while. And I like that they're developing their tag team division a bit that way, because I do think that with Sasha Bailey being tag champs, they seem to be more prevalent to going to NXT than any other of their previous tag champs. And I think we could have some really
those
cool...
two are the gold standard. I feel like Sasha and Bailey's tag team are just bread and butter, baby. They are smooth as shit.
Oh, it's incredible.
I love them as a tag team. Their character work is great, even though Bailey as a heel didn't grow on me for a little while until now. Her promos are like the only thing I'm like slightly iffy about, but I still enjoy her.
Mm-hmm.
They're hysterical. Her on commentary had me fucking rolling last night.
Oh my god.
Her whole, like, she runs over to Asuka. Ah! She goes, why did she fall for it? Who falls for this? Yeah. She's like, this is like for 4-year-olds. Who falls for that? Dude, I was dying. I was like, this shouldn't be this funny. And then when Byron said something about them losing their titles and it cuts back over to Bailey, and she's like, you were almost worse than Michael Cole.
Yeah.
Like,
how do you do that?
I think there was it yesterday? There was like an after show that Samoa Joe was on with both of them, and Samoa Joe was like also dying, and that guy has like the best deadpan ever. So the fact that they cracked him was just killing me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that they're
like
the best
it's like
thing
when
on
Jericho
TV right
and like Shivani are on commentary. Like, I can't help but like giggle at myself every time I hear Jericho say some like stupid shit.
There's times that it's been pretty great. I really like the time that Jericho told Shivani that's why there's no Shivani shirts out there. And he said, oh, you can get it at I Love Lewis. Yeah, he plugged his fucking Lewis t-shirt. It's like at lewisrocks.com or whatever. I liked carrying Cross and Brunson Reed together. It was cool seeing Karrion against a bigger guy, someone who could be taken a little bit more seriously, because they've been putting him mostly with tiny jobbers.
Yeah,
I think it was
which
important
is
to have Carrie
kinda
go
like the old
over.
school way to like build up the big boys.
Yeah, but I think that we've done well about establishing that. You know, he's a big
Yeah.
dude. He's a threat. He's scary. And now it's like, well, what happens when he's up against someone we know? You know what I
Dork
mean?
Chop in the house.
Dork Chop made it. Dork
Yeah.
Chop, whoop whoop. He's
Cheers.
raiding with a party of 2.
Woo!
Cheers, Dork Chop. Thank you for bringing your friends, if that's what that means.
Yeah. We
As you know, we have no idea what this stuff means. I've been doing this for well over a year. Every show is our first show, and every Twitch stream's like our first. But we like them bits and them Prime subscribes. Put the I in Prime subscribe. Put the no in notification. You don't ever have to watch again. But I do want you to buy me a drink.
Yes. Please.
Oh, Dork Chop just finished their own stream.
Oh, Dork Chop finished the stream. Sweet, dude.
Nice.
Thanks for coming through. We're barely on NXT right now. Let's see. Hopefully,
Oh,
one of you are
wow.
stuck around.
Dork Chop's way more professional than us.
What do you mean?
Oh, we're talking
Their
about
stream,
this
I
is a
just looked.
professional. What are you
Oh,
talking
did you
about?
just look at their stream?
Yeah, I was like, oh, what's Dork Chop got going on? A lot more professionalism than us.
Yeah. Oh, Dork Chop streams? Oh, he agrees it's also your first show.
Oh, so you're on
Dork Chop's like, you want to go watch these guys? You cannot figure this shit out?
That's hilarious.
Let's go.
Talking about just like borderline alcoholics yell about wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way Dork Chop doesn't just pity us.
Yeah. Dork Chop's like patting us on the head. It's like, it's so cute you guys do this every week.
Good show.
Cheers to Dork Chop coming through. We appreciate it all the time.
Cheers.
Dork Chop, it's the birthday episode, man. Tomorrow is Clump's birthday. The day after that's mine. That's where I got this cool little Undertaker pin that's impossible to see.
That, well, you posted on your social, and I retweeted, but it also closes, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it closes into a regular coffin with the Undertaker symbol on it.
Badass.
And then you open it up and there's the Undertaker on the inside. Just
was-
looking scary as shit.
I wasn't familiar with the company, but I thought
They make pins.
Yeah.
So, how much do you need to know?
All right.
What kind of reviews are you looking from a pin company to know if this is one to go for?
Well, I know there's one that we usually go with because they're our buddy, but
Oh, 123pins.us. Check them out. That guy's dope.
this is not his. This is
This is not from him because this is clearly this is going to have a cease and desist soon enough, and he tries to avoid those at this point. So I'm glad you got this in on the bottom level before they got the old C&D. Speaking of C&D, I'm drinking Gentleman Jack now. Again. So if you guys know anybody who could get
That's
us
definitely
to...
not a C and D. That's you totally fucked up your letters there.
Is that not how you spell cease or desist?
No, I thought you were talking about the Jack. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Jack Daniels. I'm like, that's J and G. I don't know what the fuck you're doing there, bud.
Oh.
I'm like,
G and
Mark,
J.
I don't know what the hell happened there.
I'm great at spelling.
It's not like the other.
He needs 6 more followers to go affiliate? Yo,
Oh, yeah.
shout him out on our Twitter and stuff. Get him
yeah.
affiliate. Hey guys, go get him affiliate real quick. There's no
What's
reason
his,
Dork Chop shouldn't be
I'm gonna follow
affiliated.
him right now.
Dork Chop. I don't know what to tell you other than Dork Chop. Let me see. Let me.
Just for the
Alright,
name
I'm
alone,
a-
I'm gonna follow you.
How do
I'm gonna.
I
There we
get
go.
to
I
his
posted.
channel?
I
This is great.
posted.
There goes follow.
There.
Aha!
There we go.
All right, everyone, go give him a follow. Let's get this guy to affiliate. There's no reason Dork Chop shouldn't be affiliated yet. That guy is, or gal. I guess we never figured that out. So, but there's no reason Dork Chop shouldn't be affiliate. So find Dork Chop, Dork_Chop. If you're listening on podcast, go to twitch.tv/Dork_Chop.
Yeah, friend
and
of the
give
show.
him a follow. Friend of the show needs his affiliation status. And then he can start, I think, making some emotes. Which, if you need any help with that, dude, let me know.
Yeah, as fellow
Is
small
it
streamers.
with 2 P's?
No, 1P.
One
What do you
P?
mean? You can just, there's a link.
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Yeah,
No, you didn't.
Okay, yeah, I'm going right now. Hang on.
Oh, wow, you are horrible at this, Nancy.
You just click his name.
Are you really surprised that I'm this bad? You've seen my fucking wrestling skills. Don't even go there with me.
You're like the youngest one to hear. You should be all tech savvy.
Yeah. You should be getting this sorted out. You were a partner at one point.
Yeah, I was.
All right, cool.
Oh my god.
All right.
Thanks for the birthday wishes.
Let's see here. I'm gonna do.
All right.
What's going on? What's going on? Well, so Bronson and Karrion Kross, Aaliyah versus Rhea Ripley. What do you guys think of that match? Actually.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, Rhea Ripley is becoming more and more of like one of like the sleepers in the NXT. Like if you don't watch a Rhea Ripley match, I feel like your opinion has changed over time. You know, with Rhea when she came in and to where she's at now, I think her match psychology is a lot better now.
Yeah, I think she's great. I think that people are trying to say that, okay, so her losing to Charlotte did not bury her. It didn't ruin her career by any means. But I think it was a hell of a setback. Because now she's in the middle of the card facing Aaliyah about Robert Stone. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? She's nowhere near that title. She's nowhere near the important matches. She's not even in a tag team getting shots against Sasha and Bayley. Like, what the fuck is she doing right now?
It's one of those people you gotta watch out for. Rhea Ripley at any point in time, they can pull the trigger on her and she can turn it into something really good.
Yeah, she's got the skills and the quality, and she will get there. But it is a bummer to see that right now.
It's a matter of timing. It's a matter of timing, and if she can, you know, it's sink or swim right now. And she may be in the water with some sharks right now, so she's got to kind of feed off some sharks and hope for the best, you know?
She was on a roll up until Charlotte came in, and
yeah, well,
damn it, Charlotte!
In general.
I mean, she really was.
Damn you and your annoying chops.
We all thought, damn, Rhea's just shot to the top, and she's gonna get to enjoy this, and then that ended
she's also
so quickly.
Rhea's really young. Rhea, I think is my age actually. I think she's like I'm 23. I think she's like 24, if not a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all.
She's
babies.
young. I mean, she's got a lot of time.
She does. She's got time. Let me see. Something to know.
What? What's something?
The
elaborate.
age thing.
Oh.
Let's see.
He's looking up age.
Cold
Ages.
was born in 64, so that would have been in 96 he would have been 32.
Okay.
Yeah,
So where are you going with this?
Yeah, what direction did we go from? Why are we
well,
talking
that's the part
about
that doesn't
Stone
make
Cold?
sense to me. If he was 32 in 96, why was he telling Jake the Snake he was over the hill when he was like 35? You know what I mean? Like, they're pretty... Yeah.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, Marsh.
Yes, that's true. Was there anything that happened in NXT you guys wanted to hit on specifically?
No. Maybe just a triple threat.
10
Obviously.
years difference. There's a 10-year difference between Stone Cold and Jake. It's kind of wild. What did you think of it overall? I thought it was a really good show.
Solid.
Yeah.
They're each week it's something different, and like you said with the whole Great American Bash thing, I just sit back and I kind of chuckle to myself because it's such like a little fuck you. It's like one of those things where they're kind of like where NXT is like holding over like AEW's head like the treats like a small dog. You can't like reach it all the way up. You know?
How fucking cool is Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm so stoked for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit, that's gonna be a match people will talk about. There's no way. I don't see that not being the match of the week, you know?
Maybe match of the year. If they do that right, they both have tremendous wrestling ability. You know, Sasha has improved a ton as where like 2018 Sasha was on a weird little roll. She's improved.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, look at Sasha versus Peyton in that tag match. There was that whole little sequence they had together in the beginning where everyone went, holy shit, Peyton can wrestle? Like, Sasha will bring the best out of people.
With Ty Dillinger. You know, Ty Dillinger runs a school as if she doesn't go there every week training with him. And then, what's his name? Tyler Breeze.
Okay, but have you seen Ty Dillinger wrestle?
Not in a little bit, but that.
Fuck that.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You know what? disregard your personal opinion, dickweed.
He's like, oh yeah, I forgot.
The fact of the matter is, she's training weekly. She's putting in the work, and she's putting in the time to learn more.
And Billy Kay sleeps in.
Yep.
Yes.
Like a sore thumb, she sticks out.
I'm waiting for a Peyton Royce to turn on Billy Kay, like Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. Peyton's been really impressive lately, and I have not said that, I think, ever. I've never thought of either one of them as being all that impressive. And this past 2 weeks or so, I'd say that Peyton Royce, I'm watching going, there might be something there.
No, I think it was last week or maybe the week before that you were saying she actually has a lot of potential, but yeah.
I've always said she's the better of the two.
Yeah.
But I think that in the past couple of weeks she's impressed me, where before I just thought she was just better of the two.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see. Where does that bring us? What are we talking about?
So NXT, good show, and
yeah, I do think that there's definitely a possibility that there could easily be Sasha versus Io being the match of the year or being in contention for match of the year, because I think both of them are capable. I do not think it's a mistake that Sasha Banks and Bayley were in that match together when they had match of the year. I don't think it's a mistake that Charlotte got over because of her rivalry with Sasha, regardless of what people want to say. Yeah. And I don't think it's a mistake that the first match they ever had in India for a title match had Alexa Bliss, who had the title, versus Sasha Banks. I think there's a very real reasoning behind Sasha being where she is and the quality wrestler that she is. When she even went on her sabbatical or whatever it was, she went to Japan and trained with all the Japanese wrestlers. Yeah. That was something she had a dream of doing and just went and got the chance to do it. Like, she took time away from the business to go train in the business. Like, there's a lot there, and I think that they have the possibilities there are something to be excited for.
Yeah.
As we go past American Bash, what's up?
I was gonna say, how do you guys feel about the winner take all at NXT?
Oh,
NXT
so it's gonna be Keith Lee versus Adam Cole.
Yeah, but just the fact that they're putting the belts on one person, because that I don't like at all.
The match is going to be great. The concept of the idea of putting all the belts on one person is stupid. You know, like, unless we're going to be, because realistically, if Keith Lee wins it, it's predictable. If Adam Cole wins it, it's going to be, I don't know. It's hard to kind of put my finger on that one.
Hold on. Whoa, hold on. Wait a second. Back the truck up here, you scumbag. Predictable that Keith Lee would win it versus Adam Cole, who's never lost against anyone, even though he's undermatched in every match he's in. I don't think
I'm
that
behind
there's.
Keith Lee. I'm absolutely behind Keith Lee.
I think Keith Lee needs to take it, and I think that Adam Cole should go away forever. No, I'm not. Go to AEW. Go be with your wife.
Yeah, and go along with the rest.
Yeah. I think that, I'm just not a big Adam Cole fan, but I do think that Keith Lee should take it. I do agree that the only time I think that there should be two belts on one person is when the story gets you there, not when just a match stipulation presents itself.
Throw it up. You know what I mean? Okay, well, just take it all, guys. Let's just see what happens here.
Yeah, and even with the winner-take-all match at WrestleMania with Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda, the story took you there. Charlotte had it. Ronda had it. Becky had her match that she could demand, and it was a winner-take-all match. You know what I mean? Because they said, there's no way that this match isn't happening, but how do we do it, right? They had a story that there was a reason why Becky would want to defeat Charlotte. There's a reason why Becky would want to beat Ronda. There's a reason for all three of them to want each other's blood. For them to just say, hey, whoever wins this match is going to go on a match with Adam Cole and the winner's going to take all, felt really lacking in storyline.
Maybe they didn't have any ideas and they're kind of just rolling with the punches.
I think it'll be cool potentially, but at the same time, what's going to piss off Kevlar is that this person's going to have to lose the North American title and still be world champ.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in a match where the North American title's on the line, but the world champ is not, and they're going to lose that title, and then Kevlar's going to be fucking pissed, and he goes, fuck that guy, he just lost to the world champ, like he's going to lose his mind. He does it every time that happens.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, March, I'm gonna have to cut myself short. I'm gonna FaceTime my kids and say goodnight and everything else like that, and then I have to be up at work for 5 a.m.
I got you. We're just gonna hit up SmackDown and Raw right now, so we'll be wrapping it up in a little bit. Anyways, hey guys, Iron Manzy's out. Go ahead, check out his Facebook. Scumbags are forever with 2 E's.
Guys, okay, don't even go there with me with that one.
There we go. We posted it up.
It's one of those. I can't change it. Leave me alone.
It's there forever. We've posted it up if you're watching the video feed on all of his links. Iron Man's, you go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Facebook as well. Yeah, shut up. Sure. If you're not dyslexic like me, at facebook.com/scumbagsAreForev with 2 E's on the end of that. Okay. You can find me. Be quiet, Mars. You can find me over on Instagram at Mandy155. You can find me on Twitter at AlliedScumbag97, and you guys can also find me on ProWrestlingTees.com/IronManzy, where I just dropped 2 great new shirts, as well as I have some other amazing designs on there. Marsh, Kevlar, thank you guys for inviting me on the show. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are consistently inviting me back, and I really, really appreciate that, man. You guys have an amazing rest of your night, and as always, remember, scumbags are forever. Have a good night, guys.
Cheers.
See you, Mandy. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
See you through. I gotta find a good way to do a cheers sound effect here. Kev, because I was realizing that when I hit the mic with the glass, like I thought would make a cool cheer sound, it just sounds like a car backing up into a wall. So everyone's like, no, it's not right.
I like that Aaron in the chat's like, you can totally change it.
Totally change it. I can't see anybody in the chat. My chat looks empty. What's going on over there? Yeah.
Oh.
You got to tell me what's happening in the chat now.
Okay, well, in the chat, Aaron was saying, you can totally change it to Mancy. He's like, I can't change it. It's there forever.
Oh, yeah, no. Forever. He put scumbags are forever. 2 E's instead of forever with an R. What else is happening there? Did Dork Chop get affiliate? Did we make that happen?
Let's see.
Because he said he was 6 away. I know me and Manzi hit it, so that should be at least 4. Aaron, if you're in there now. We got Kevlar did it.
He's at 47.
He's at 47. He needs 3 more. Aaron, if you haven't gone to Dork Chops and given him a follow to get that guy affiliate, go ahead and do us a favor. That guy's a good guy. So far as we know, he's never corrected us if I said he's a good guy and not a good girl or lady. I don't know. Dork Chop is very secretive, and I respect that. Oh, I should do this. That's going to be my cheers noise until this thing breaks.
I like that you're trying to think of something so high tech, and you're surrounded by glasses that you could just.
Well, yeah, but I was trying to flick the glass. It didn't sound right. I was hitting other stuff. It doesn't sound right. That's weird tin noise. But I got this. There you go. Huh? Cheers! Guys, we're doing it, man. Living in the future.
I'm guessing a Dork Chop's I think Dork Chop's a dude because his little icon is he's got. It looks like.
It doesn't matter how Dork Chop identifies.
Okay.
We're just a big fan of Dork Chop being a fan of us. We're having drinks in his honor on his path to affiliate. I want him at affiliate before we end the show. Guys, go follow Dork Chop. Put the I in following and the no notifications. You never have to watch a Dork Chop show, but you gotta get him affiliate.
You can't say that for other people's stuff.
You don't have to watch it, especially when it's the same time as us.
No, you only say that for ours.
No, what?
Stop
Listen. He went in the same time as us, and that feels like counter programming.
Sorry, Dork Chop. I can't.
It's a Tuesday Night Wars.
I can't.
This is the Tuesday Night Wars,
and
there's no way. But you don't have to ever watch. Just put no notifications and the I in following for Dork Chop. All right, I don't think Dork Chop knows.
He didn't hear a single thing.
Yeah, he didn't hear any of that. I'm getting none of the chat. I'm getting none.
I don't know why.
Oh, am I in Dork Chop's stream of us and not mine?
Wow. Okay.
Oh, Dork Chop thwarted me.
Why are you so bad at this?
It's an invasion.
Yeah, it is.
The most tech-savvy person here. You can't be this bad.
How? I'm in the Dork Chop chat.
Well, there's probably nothing happening because he's not streaming.
No, he's streaming us. That's how I didn't know. He's doing a thing. He's doing a good thing.
Oh my god. Okay. Aw.
There it is. I'm back in. What's up?
Okay. He said, hey, I was on for 7 hours. I didn't mean to run over your stream. In fact, I ended it just to watch y'all.
Oh, wow. Aww. That's crazy. He was all like, he looks at the clock. Shit! Those drunk idiots are screaming about wrestling and I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
Can I see one of those just so I can catch up on the chat? I want to make sure there's nothing I'm missing that we were supposed to read. I like to include anybody who is in the chat.
You could just keep that one.
Let me see. He said he's so close, 47. 2K20 makes me laugh. See, Io Shiraz basically no downside. Dork Chop says, gimme, gonna be dope. kind of booked into a corner with Keith Lee. He should win. Just strap the rocket to him. I think that's absolutely true, and so does Faptina. I think you put it on Keith Lee, but how do you get him out of the North American title? Dorkchip says not a fan of the stip, but we are here and they aren't going back, so having Cole win again is a mistake in his opinion. Undisputed Era needs a shake-up to keep NXT fresh. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been liking much of Undisputed Era. I think they're all great talent, but even what they're doing with Roderick Strong and Dexter Lumis, not been enjoying it. Also, he said Rhea Ripley is a star. Let's see. Aaron Marsh says you can totally change it. Dorkchop's getting close. Keep two glasses next to you. Clink them together in front of the mic. That's what I figured out, man. Yeah, look. Cheers. Let's see. It's on for 7 hours. Ended it just to watch. You deserve to see nothing. Dorkchop says it's time to break up UE, I think. I don't know that I even think they need to be apart. I just don't think that... Oh, and now I'm caught up on mine, so you can have this back.
No, you could just hang
all
on
right,
to it.
whatever. Yeah. Christ. I think that... I don't know that I think they need the UE apart. I don't, but I don't like what they're doing. I don't like the... Maybe I don't like the creative freedom they're given. Maybe I don't think they're funny people. Maybe that's all it really, truly is. Where with a show like SmackDown, they'd be told what to do, and maybe I would just enjoy... Maybe I like Bruce Pritchard's humor more than I like Adam Cole's humor. Maybe that's what it breaks down to. I don't know. I'm not saying I have it all figured out or that I'm right or wrong. I like Undisputed Era as a team, so I think they are very good together. I think the Undisputed Era needs to interfere more in Adam Cole matches to give him the win. Because I think they really need to show that Adam Cole needs them more than they need him, and I want it to be clear to us, but apparently not to them. What do you think, Kev? Do you think it's time to break up the Undisputed Era?
Maybe. Like, I don't know. I'm a little torn on it. Like, I like everyone in Undisputed Era except Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if they kicked him out or whatever, maybe.
And then he shows up on SmackDown or Raw as
yeah.
I'm here to do this.
But at the same time, like, I just want factions.
Exactly. I was about to say, they can have a cool thing. Yeah, got to restart the old heart sometimes. I think that it could be really cool to see them going up against teams like New Day and the like.
Mm-hmm.
But
or even split them up on shows. You don't even have to have them break up. If you're going to move them up, put 2 to Raw, or even just, Cole to Raw and the other 3 to SmackDown or whatever.
Yeah, but that would bum me out, man. If they did the breakup of Undisputed Era by call up alone and not by storyline,
yeah.
I'd be bummed.
Yeah,
just because they've right.
You need the closure of it.
I'd want closure, at least a pin in it, where it's all like, here's why we broke up, and then something you can fall back on later, as opposed to just being booked differently now. You know what I mean? Because you could always come back where with some kind of shake-up, they're all on the same channel again, and then all of a sudden it's all like, you guys fucked with me last time, as opposed to being like, oh my god, I can't believe we're together again. I think that team more than anything deserves a good storyline outro. Dorkchop says they've been too big for too long to not have one. And that's how I feel about it. I think it's enough on Undisputed Era. And that is Undisputed. Let's see. Anybody else who's in the chat, if you guys haven't already gone over to Dorkchop's channel, give him a quick follow, put the notifications. Make sure you do that. Kev, what did you think of SmackDown?
It was good. I mean,
I liked all the flashback stuff to Undertaker, yeah?
Yeah. The whole, showing all the Taker stuff, showing the Boneyard match, I think was huge to put it on Fox.
That was big. I felt that was big. I felt like you had every reason to not show the full match and tease people, you got to get the network and go watch this.
Mm-hmm.
But part of it felt like the respect for Undertaker is so big that they just said, no. If this is his last match, as he's stated that he believes it will be, not that it's impossible, because if you watch The Last Ride, he even said, at the end of the day, if Vince knocks, breaks the glass and says, "I need you," I'll probably go back. You know what I mean? He said it. He's like, I can't say no to Vince if he needs me. Like, the bond between him and Vince is, I want to say crazy, but I think it's something more real than that. I don't think it's craziness. I think that there's just this connection between these two for so long that, yeah, if Vince said, "Taker, please, just this one more," he's going to do it. So, yeah, I need you. I need that presence. I need the gong. I just can't. And imagine this. Imagine a world where Vince doesn't have to die to leave the company. Imagine a world where Vince decides he's going to retire and step away. Imagine he asks The Undertaker to come back and do a farewell match for him. He'd do it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's what it's going to take. I mean, everyone says that he's going to die in that chair. He's going to die in Gorilla. You know? Like, he said that there's no way he's gonna allow that company to exist without him behind it. So I don't know. But if there is a world where Vince says, you know what, it's best for me to just be a fan, I think that would be pretty cool to see. But I feel like that they felt, if this is Undertaker's last match, it was something they didn't want behind a paywall. They wanted the whole world to have the opportunity to see what could be The Undertaker's last match, just because it's The Undertaker. And whether you watched wrestling 20 years ago or 10 years ago, or you stopped watching 5 years ago, you know who The Undertaker is. And you deserve to have this.
Yeah, and especially since in today's world, with everything going on, you know, a lot of people have lost their jobs and stuff like that, and, you know, might have, you know, had to cancel the network and might have missed it.
Yeah.
But it's free now, so.
Yeah, but Mania might not be.
Okay, all right.
Right? So Mania might not be.
You said the network, and I was like, wait, what?
And Dorkchop said it too. I didn't even notice that while I was saying it, but it was right online with what we were saying. He said, "I agree, Taker's last match shouldn't be hidden in the network. Glad they put it on TV." Kev?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Just this.
I was surprised they opened the show with it. I was surprised that they put it so early on in the show, but as the show played out, I realized why, and I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it led into Corbin and "You suck." And
yeah,
that was all good.
Let's see. Fabtina says that it's Dak Hardwood's birthday today. I totally forgot about that. Dax from FTR. We got them cool FTR shirts on the last crate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Check out our unboxings on our YouTube if you haven't. Go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com and click on the YouTube logo. Our YouTube URL is not good. Until all you guys subscribe to my YouTube, I can't just make it YouTube/Wrestling on the Rocks. I can't do it. I need more subscribers. So check out our unboxing where you see the new FTR shirts that we have. But yes, it is his birthday, so cheers to Dax Hardwood.
Cheers. Yeah, you did it.
Let's see. Fabtina also says that hopes that Taker stays retired. And let's see. Chop says Taker's pop culture icon. His reach extends beyond wrestling. Plus, he has been all over mainstream TV doing interviews for The Last Ride, so his name recognition out of wrestling is high, as high as it's been in years. And I think Ric Flair said it best too in the Last Ride documentary, and they even played a clip of it there. He said Undertaker could be the most famous wrestling figure that there's ever been. And for Ric Flair to say that, you know, like no one else could have said that and had the impact than Ric Flair saying no one's more famous in wrestling than Undertaker, because he's a guy who's influenced hip hop, who's influenced so many worlds of sports. I mean, you share them all the time with me, Kevlar, where a sports team just in the back celebrates with 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Yeah, my kickball team does that before every match or before every game.
Yeah, and that's just a thing, and people woo. You know what I mean? Like, people know Ric Flair, and so for Ric Flair to say, yeah, but I'm not Undertaker famous, you're kind of like, wow.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah. Dorkchop says he would argue Hogan, but it wouldn't. But I also wouldn't doubt Taker. Show people a picture of Taker and Hogan. I bet it would recognize Hogan, and most would recognize Taker. The other thing too is people laugh about Hogan. Really. You know, you talk about wrestling and they go, oh, like Hogan with the mustache and ripping his shirt. But they talk about The Undertaker. They go, you remember The Undertaker, though? God, that guy was cool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Undertaker brought cool into wrestling and kept it there for fucking 3 decades. Where Hogan was the chew your vitamins, drink your milk, be loud. Like, yeah. I mean, you can't understate Undertaker's position in wrestling. And I mean, it almost sounds goofy when you start trying to even explain it. You're all like, "Really? Are you saying about this dude?" And you're like, "Yeah, this one we are." Everyone knows. And then, and I'm not quiet about me liking wrestling. You know,
really?
Beyond just this show, my desk at work was a whole bunch. It was pictures and pins and little gadgets and toys, and it was just wrestlers all over it. And I would wear wrestling stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it was always... I got tired of the idea of all these people hiding about their fandom, so I decided I would be overly loud about it. And the amount of people who walk over, look at that stuff, and they go, oh, man, do you remember The Undertaker? It's real, man. It's real. Mm-hmm. People think of him in, like, a reverence and in an amazement, where when you go, oh, yeah, and he goes, oh, yeah, I remember Hulk Hogan, and they're like, that was funny, and he's all like, you know, and you're like, okay. That's not the way they talk about Undertaker. The Undertaker was cool wrestling for a very long time. So yeah, it was great that they put on the... I liked that they opened with the thank you Taker. I thought that was very cool.
Except for Cesaro. I don't know what he was doing.
What was he doing?
He was just like sitting there and he was like it was weird.
He's like, I don't chant, I'm no Mark.
Yeah. He's like, they're forcing me to be out here. I'm just going to stand here.
Yeah. Damn it. I did like they had those little clips here and there throughout the show. And yeah, it came back to Corbin talking all that mad shit about Undertaker. And it made a lot of people think, oh, are we going to get a Corbin-Undertaker match? What do you think?
No, I think he was just... Corbin was looking... They were looking to give Corbin just the cheap automatic heat and, you know...
And build towards a Hardy match.
Make him the ultimate heel. Unless, you know, that might be the call down the line. Where, hey, let's do Corbin and Taker. But...
I think that it's very possible that Undertaker makes an appearance that's surprising to everyone and comes out and choke slams him or tombstones him or something. I don't know that it's going to make into a match. Although, if they did make into a match, like I said earlier, I think that Corbin could definitely feed off of an Undertaker match, an Undertaker win.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron says in the chat, Big E was humping to the clap rhythms, and Dork Chubb says Big E will hump to any rhythm. Both are true. I actually didn't like that. True. I felt like it was the one time that Big E's goofiness didn't need to be there.
Yeah, don't try and outshine and bring the attention on yourself.
Exactly, and I felt like it could have easily... To me, it was also felt like it would have been more meaningful to see Big E, serious face, clapping and saying thank you, Taker, and respecting the man than, I don't know, quote unquote, trying to get your shit in. But he wasn't. And I don't want that to be a thing. And if anyone clips that, I'm going to clip the other part where I immediately said, but he wasn't just trying to get his shit in, because he wasn't. That's just who he is, and he's having a good time and all that, and I get it, and I love Big E. Mm-hmm. It's just the one time where I thought, you know what, it'd have been kind of cool to see Big E next to Kofi being serious and clapping.
Pull back
a little bit, you know, because I know that those guys respect him, and we saw it in the last ride. There was a conversation with Big E and Kofi and Undertaker, and they're goofing off with them, but you could tell there's a ton of respect there, and you just know it's there. It would have been nice to see it a little bit right then. But also, you know, if they're cool with him in the back, what does it matter to me? It's just one of those things where I thought, what do they say? Perception is 100% of their reality. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your initial reaction.
Yeah. And that's what Aaron's saying there, that Big E needed Kofi to tell him to respect the moment. Also, I bet it made Taker laugh. It's very possible that Taker saw it and giggled. Thank you, Taker.
That's cool.
I'm having a drink, man. I can't feel every second. I thought Kevlar had my back. He's got nothing.
No. You really got
I
to
was
reach
taken
with
away
them.
from the clanking.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. So after that, we did have Alexa Bliss versus Dana. Oh, the fatal four-way for the #1 contender spot for the SmackDown Women's title. Mm-hmm. This was a cool match to see. Yes. Alexa, Dana Brooke, Nikki Cross, and Lacey Evans in 4 corners, effectively. What'd you think of this?
You know, I think...
What?
What?
All I heard was, you know.
You know? I said I liked it a lot. And it showed everyone's... everyone got a moment to shine and stuff like that. And I absolutely loved the outcome of the match.
Yeah, Nikki Cross getting the win I thought was really good because I think Nikki out of those 4 deserves it the most and hasn't been there, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least that shine. And I've seen a lot of people post lately, and Nikki keeps retweeting it, about the Asuka versus Nikki Last Woman Standing match. And I know that almost every week I keep telling the producer she's got to watch that match because we watch it every week and we always go, why is it Alexa and her best friend Nikki again? Mm-hmm. What happened to the twisted sister of NXT? What happened to crazy Nikki? Why do we just have giddy teenage Nikki all of a sudden? To
the point where last year when we went to Rumble Live in Phoenix, I had where there's actually a shot you can rewatch. We were the second row and I had a "Let Nikki Play" sign.
Yeah.
It was like the only sign too for Nikki that I saw.
Yeah, let Nikki play.
Yeah.
I'll play with you, Becky.
And then it was like a couple months later that they brought her up, and we were so excited. I was like, "Oh my god, they saw my sign! They saw!"
Yeah, they did it. They did what we wanted.
But we were so excited. Yeah, to me.
You heard it here first.
We were so excited to see her, and thought, "Oh, they're gonna pair her up with Alexa." You know, because Alexa's a great talker too. Like, she's going to get comfortable on the mic, and then she's going to go crazy on Alexa, and we're going to have this cool twisted sister in the roster, and yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a bigger division between their 2 characters. I thought Alexa was going to try and continue to, like, manipulate and be, you know, cheerleader-esque almost in her presentation. And I thought Nikki was going to be unhinged and crazy and, you know, this dog without a leash kind of an attitude. And all we got was Nikki being a lot like Alexa. And it really bummed me out. Especially when you go back and watch that match of Asuka versus Nikki and you go, holy shit, these 2 women can go? And Aaron says he thinks Nikki's going to crush that pay-per-view event. And I agree. Mm-hmm. I think that something that Bayley has shown that Klump refuses to acknowledge because he's a piece of shit. And I can say that because he's not listening.
He's not here.
He's not here today. He's not watching. Klump can go straight to hell. Talking about how he's not a fan of Bayley and Sasha. He can eat it. And I would say it because I don't know the thing that he would eat he wouldn't enjoy.
Yeah, Klump kind of eats anything.
Nothing comes to mind of something he could eat he would not enjoy.
He eats paper and wood that's here. Like, yeah. It's just so random.
And I can't even scream out random body parts and stuff because I'll put anything in his mouth.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is, but whatever it is he wouldn't like, he can eat that thing.
It's it.
Lasagna. Lasagna is the only thing I've heard him say he doesn't like.
Oh, and our ginger beer.
And our ginger beer. He can have ginger beer and lasagna. That guy. Fuck him.
All right, we got some chat going
on. The day before his birthday, I say that. Cheers to Klump. But I do agree. I don't think it's a mistake that Bayley has been champion this long because I think she's having a really good... She's doing an amazing job of making everyone look good, and everyone looks main event. You had Tamina in her first title opportunity in the history of her career, and when you watch the match, you didn't say, why the fuck is Tamina here? You thought, man, Tamina might actually take this at some point. But you kept thinking there's just no way because you know the history of Tamina. But there were definitely moments where you're all like, I don't fucking know right now. It definitely had me pop out of my seat a couple of times thinking like, this could be the thing. And I think that Bayley brings that out of people. And I think if Asuka and Nikki could have such an amazing match together that they had, not to undermine Asuka at all, but I think that Bayley comes from a Jerry Lawler school of thought of you put any guy's first day in the ring with me and I'm going to make them look like they should have won. And I think that that's Bayley's thing. Every match she's in, especially because she's a heel, she goes in there and thinks, this match has to be played out where everyone thinks that they should have won. That's what will make me great. And I think that's true. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Is I think Nikki's going to go 110%. I think Bayley's going to make it look like Nikki should have won. And I think it's going to be incredible. I'm going to go through the chat real quick, and then Kevlar, whatever you got to say. Dorkchop says crazy is better than happy Nikki, but sometimes the crazy was over the top and off-putting. I like where she used to chew on the ropes, though. It says, I think she was a ton of talent, but I think a bit more subtlety, if she's capable of it, would have been a breath of fresh air. And I think that's what I thought was going to happen with her pairing of Alexa, was a pullback of the crazy, but it was still going to be there. Dorkchop says, Clump can eat doo-doo. And let's see, Faptina says, yeah, Giddy Nikki is just too much for me. And then there's some Illuminati stuff going on there with Vince McMahon. So, Kevlar, what do you got?
About what? Just Nikki or moving on?
Nikki and Nikki.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to the match, and they haven't said that there's any kind of stipulations to it, have they?
So far as I know, there is no stipulation yet.
Because I saw that they started calling Extreme Rules House of Horrors or whatever they're calling it.
The horror show, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Like, what is that about? Do you think, sidebar, do you think that means they're going to lead to Bray versus Braun in a House of Horrors match? That's my gut.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Well, Braun said that he wants to go back to the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
He said he wanted to go back to the swamp. They're calling it House of Horrors. They brought back the old Bray. I think it's going to be a House of Horrors match. And I think it's going to be fucking dope. Did you go back and watch that? Huh?
What were you going to say?
When I went back and watched, after the Funhouse, I went back and watched House of Horrors match with Randy versus Bray. Did you ever go back and rewatch that?
No.
It is so good in a bubble. And it is so good up until they have to go back to the ring in the stadium. Mm-hmm. But everything that happens in the House of Horrors, I remember you and I thinking it was kind of campy and a little weird. But I think you and I also had just come from being live at an event and thinking, man, if I got to watch a goddamn match on a TV screen while I'm at the event,
Yeah, we'd be pissed off. Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Yeah, we'd be pissed. Because that's the other thing, is that it was very off-putting and alarming almost to go from all this in-ring action in front of a live crowd to go to, boom, now we're at the House of Horrors. However, I believe our conditioning is beginning to change. And I think that the House of Horrors match, standing alone in what it was, up until the point, because the stipulation was the match had to end in the ring, it was very good up until that point. Even with the dumb refrigerator bit. They knock a refrigerator on him and you go, that's a little bit much. But they do a good job of everything in that House of Horrors. They go back to the ring, and that's when Jinder Mahal gets involved, because it was during that time where he had stolen the title. Mm-hmm. That was a mess, and that's what ruined the match to me when you look at it in a bubble. Do you think they could do House of Horrors right this time?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Because, just like the Boneyard match and the Funhouse match is, it could be cinematic, tell a great story, have what's going on, and, it come out really well. And I hope that they do that.
I'm really hoping for a House of Horrors match.
Yeah.
Especially because of the promo there, which we'll get to in just a minute.
Yeah, I think in this time of quarantine and COVID and all that, you need more matches like this. Because we're seeing the same ring, the same setup, the same everything right now. The crowd's not changing, so there's nothing flexible that we used to get. And I think when you come out and bring in these, specialty matches like that, it adds a whole new element, and it's amazing and it's great to watch.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really into it. I do think, though, going back to it real quick, I think Nikki and Bailey might be one of the best matches of that night that will not get the credit it deserves.
Probably not.
You know what I mean?
I think, it once again, it could be, up for match of the year with these two. But I also think it depends on, because whenever I think of Extreme Rules pay-per-views, I think isn't like 90% of the matches like some kind of gimmick match?
Usually, but remember there was that one, I want to say it was last year or the year before, where only...
Hold on one second, I gotta step away.
Oh my god.
Door Chop says he agrees with Kev, more produced content to the breakup matches. So Kevlar left me hanging. He's gone.
He did, but you can continue.
But what I was going to say, I guess, as in direct response to the thing he had just said, was it was a year or two ago where his stepkid even said, isn't this supposed to be Extreme Rules? Because every match either didn't have a stipulation, or there was a chairs match, and then there was like a ladder match, and then there was like one Extreme Rules match, but there was very, very little as far as like a bunch of stipulation matches.
Oh my god.
Oh, I just closed the coffee.
You closed the pin.
Yeah. But it was one of those things where it's all like, this feels like a normal bunch of matches, and then like 2 or 3 gimmick matches. And even that one with the kendo stick with Sasha with Bailey and Alexa I was on an Extreme Rules match that was awful, but I don't know. Let's see. Dork Chop says cinematic stuff has been great, minus the Viking Prophets or whatever that was.
Yes.
And thank you for saying that. I feel like I've been alone in this void on the internet saying that this Viking Raiders and Street Profits stuff doesn't look like a bunch of matches, or even it barely looks like good like skit TV.
Yeah.
It's coming off an awful lot like team building exercises. You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to be rivals, and somehow they're doing all these things you would do with your work to make sure you guys all get along better.
Yeah, producer here. Once that came on, once either of them come on, I immediately say, "Oh, good, I need to step away," or "Oh, I can go do that thing that I've been wanting to do for a second during the show." Like,
yeah, they've really ruined the Viking Raiders for me in a big way.
Yeah, I'm not interested in either of them. Like, I just think it makes everyone look just dopey, kind of.
And that sucks when I really think about it too, because like Raw Talk I was watching with Sasha and Bailey, and right after them was the Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
I was watching it this morning to get some of the idea what the Raw Talk was like. As soon as they came on, I just turned off the app.
Oh.
I didn't even think about it till right now. That's how much they've done to me with the Viking Raiders, where I think of them as just trash TV at this point. That sucks.
Yeah.
Because it was only a year ago I was talking about how amazing they were.
Yeah, they throw people. They're
Yeah.
really good.
They throw people at people.
Yeah.
My weapon is other person.
I think it was just last week you were talking about Montez Ford and what you would like to see with him. But what we're seeing is just kind of...
It's been awful.
Yeah. Some people really like it, though. I don't get it.
Dork Chop says, I finally wish they would rotate out some of their pay-per-views with some older ones theming-wise. There are no stories now that would need an Extreme Rules type match. Who has a feud that is so hot they need to blow it off with a big weapons match? Yeah, I think that they do. I think they have enough retired pay-per-views that they could probably change it up to not just need the Hell in a Cell match every year because that's when Hell in a Cell comes around. Or the Extreme Rules match now because that's when Extreme Rules rolls around. Where it used to be, Hell in a Cell, the first couple of them were on other pay-per-views. The most famous one of all, Mankind versus Undertaker, was on King of the Ring 98. There was just a Hell in a Cell match in it. And now there's like, oh yeah, every year we're going to have one. But shouldn't it be in a storyline that needs one? You know?
I think they need to bring back Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire was such a good graphic. Let's see. Keep the big four. Let the stories dictate the pay-per-view themes based on what's going on, is what Dork Chop says in the thing. And I think I'm 100% agreed. I think you have enough in there where you can say, are we looking at more of a backlash coming up? Do we have a lot of rematches? Do we have a lot of, I get the idea of Fastlane. How do we get people who want to, catapult themselves into WrestleMania. But do you have a bunch of rivalries right now where it's getting heated that you need blow-offs with weapons? Sometimes it feels like they're letting the pay-per-view themes dictate the storyline, and it comes off too forced, where it could be otherwise, where the storylines are dictating what kind of pay-per-view theme they need. And Great Balls of Fire is always a good theme.
Do you think they're going to do Randy Orton and Big Show at Extreme Rules?
I don't know, man. I think it's very possible.
Do you guys like seeing Big Show? I mean, this last
I love Big Show, but we're on SmackDown.
All right, okay.
Let's see. Aaron says Great Balls of Fire is the worst name. Bring back Halloween Havoc, Bash at the Beach, make Starrcade an actual pay-per-view. And Dirk Shep says weapons are becoming a crutch for the show as far as Extreme Rules goes. Let's see. We also had New Day and Lucha House Party versus Cesaro, Nakamura, Miz, and Morrison. I barely paid attention to this one, man.
Oh, yeah. He absolutely hates it anytime it comes on.
And then it ended with Baron Corbin and Jeff Hardy. And I thought that was actually a really solid match. I did like it ending with Jeff Hardy doing the Undertaker pose in tribute, especially considering that Jeff Hardy, when he went on his singles career, had a ladder match against Undertaker on, I think it was a Raw, for the title, and he lost. But at the end of it, Undertaker held up his hand on all that.
I think it would have been cool if Jeff Hardy came out in, like, purple and black. Instead of,
I
like,
thought his...
whatever.
I think he should have had more purple and black than he had, but I thought his wrists were. The arm things were a little bit.
Oh, were they? Oh.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Let it out.
Oh, it's had a shift.
No.
Good job, Marty.
But I do think that his face paint could have been much more Undertaker-like. Would have been cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then, did you do the Braun promo?
No, go into it.
Dude, best fucking Braun promo ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. Done. No,
Yeah,
like,
move on.
this is the type of stuff we've needed from Braun. You know, I've never been a big Braun fan. He's always just said, you know, get these hands. And I remember, I think they gave him free range one time, and he was like mumbling and stumbling on his words. Amazing. This was awesome. Like, if he comes out like sinister, like he's saying he wants to, or how he liked it, like this could be the start of something awesome.
This could be something big. Now, I'll tell you my issues with it. Because I agree, this is probably the best promo we've had from Braun ever. But there was a part of me that felt like he's playing Bray Wyatt. And I wanted to see him separate himself a little bit more to himself. But with someone like Braun, who seems to have an issue really finding his own voice, maybe it's not a bad deal for him to lean on a Bray Wyatt to get there, you know? Let's see. Dorkshop says, agree, it might be the best I've heard Braun talk. It was the most comfortable I've ever heard him on a mic. It was the most believable I've ever heard anything he said, as far as, because I believe he's heavily scripted, and I feel like he's always come off heavily scripted. And I felt this was one that he didn't come off super scripted, but I feel like he probably was. I don't know any of that stuff, but I felt like he leaned a little heavy on I can do what Bray does. And I don't think you can, but I don't think you should either. I think you should do what Braun does. And if that means you take a little bit from Bray, maybe you take a little bit from Randy, maybe you take a little bit from Roman, maybe you take a little bit from everybody who's around you that you look up to, that you've worked with for a long time, that you really get. And maybe you find a really cool, crazy Braun that we can all be behind.
Mm-hmm.
Am I up my ass about this one?
What was that?
No,
Am I up?
No.
Okay.
you're always in your ass, but
Yeah.
but no, yeah, I think this could be, like I said, this has me intrigued for the first time with Braun. Where's this going?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very interested in his match. And I'm trying to think about the last time I really cared about a Braun match. And it probably was a Sammy match that happened to be against Braun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when I really think about it. Yeah, I can't think of a match.
The only other Braun matches I liked were the mixed tag challenge.
Mixed tag, he was always great in.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about it, the only other match I think I was excited about was his match in Saudi against Brock. And I thought, oh, this could be great. But then it wasn't.
Chat on it.
Yeah, it was awful. I know people talk about drizzling shits when it comes to wrestling, but that's one of those ones where you really think about the drizzling part of your shits.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like the old Willy Wonka Chocolate Falls.
Oh, come on.
What? What'd I say?
Nothing good.
What happened?
I feel like I'm being attacked here.
Oh. We don't need to get more descriptive. We get what you're saying.
But in that same promo, wait, no, it was after that. Did Braun come out on that one, or was that the week before?
Bray, you mean?
Bray, yeah.
Yeah, Bray just laughed, or they had his laugh on it, and then Braun was laughing over it.
Yeah, that's all. I do think the idea of it could be very cool. If they do a House of Horrors with old school Bray, Swamp Bray against Crazy Braun, this could be cool. Nothing happened over the weekend, so I think that just brings us to Raw, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to check it out?
Yeah. I saw everything except the very end.
Oh, okay. What did you think about the open of the show? I was taken aback. I was like, shit, our stream is fucked up. We're getting the end of the other episode.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought the same thing. I was like, the fuck, they're in the middle of something, and then you hear Joe, welcome to Monday Night Raw. And you're like, oh.
That was the only indication I had that it was actually Monday Night Raw beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone was over, like, checking their stream services. Cool, what the hell?
I was all upset. I was like, man, what's going on over here? By the way, Aaron says that if I'm going to be honest, if Marsh doesn't compare matches to his different kinds of shits, I don't know what he's talking about. And I do think that is something we give to the wrestling community is a 5-poop review.
Mm-hmm. I just thought you were looking for the sound effect.
5-poop review. It's like 5 stars, but poops.
The poops.
Yeah, but as you get more poops, they become more solid.
Oh, sorry, never mind. Nothing.
What's up? No.
Nothing.
Let's see. I as soon as it came on, I was like, fuck. Like, something's going on. We're catching the end of the show. Why would they start a show like this with a fucking melee and just everyone all over the place? And all of a sudden, Smojo was like, welcome to Raw. And I was like, oh, this is the beginning.
Sasha didn't even have shoes.
Yeah.
Her shoes were nowhere.
Yeah, I was like, Sasha's shoes are already off. I don't even know what kind of heels she came out in. Like, I got what's going on.
Come on.
How'd he end up with a barefoot Sasha right now?
Yeah, that only happens to Lana. Only Lana gets barefoot.
Dorkchop brings up a good point as far as our 5-poop reviews scaling system.
Oh.
He said, what's the scale? Runny, drizzly, solid, chunky, and fully loaded.
God.
I'll make some emotes.
Yeah, that depends. When did you join us, Dorkchop? Because...
Well, no, I'm saying I can make some emotes as far as the 5-poop review as they get more solid. So,
God.
I just know that Corey Graves will never be a fan of our show, and I think I lean into that.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Something we won't lose sleep over.
But Carmella
we'll do okay.
will be in the corner dying.
I would love to find out down the line at a certain level of like success where someone's all like, dude, I tried to give you a shot. Corey was like, don't bother. And I don't know, man. If Corey's telling me no, I can't do it. I'm like, what? Like, to know that Corey Graves could actively be against our show could be kind of, a pretty cool little nod, I think. And then I'd make a t-shirt. Corey doesn't listen to Wrestling on the Rocks. And then have like a butt making a noise coming out of it at the bottom.
Oh my God. No, don't.
Does not approve.
Yeah. I'm trying to get Corey Graves to see our 1 minute highlight video that ends with 2 big farts, just because I think it'll catch him by surprise.
Just
but
bombard
it did start.
Twitter with it.
Yeah, Corey, I think you'd really like this. Corey, I don't think you've thought about it on this level.
Any fan of the show, just keep sending it to his Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, Dorkshops is going to tweet Corey Graves every week until he follows or blocks him. If we can make you affiliate, we can get you blocked by Corey Graves. That's our promise. But I do think it was a really cool way to start the show with us thinking that there's no way we're watching the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, what did you think of overall? Like, to really break down that whole segment of Asuka, Sasha Bailey, and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, and all of them kind of going back and forth the way they did. What did you think about the way it played out? I think it's one of my more favorite contract signings.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it was. I think what's cool about this one is that normally they keep saying, "Hey, there's a contract signing, there's a contract signing," and you know it's going to end up in a fight at the end.
Yes.
You know, so here, you know, I don't even remember if they promoted the contract signing beforehand, but they just started off with the fight. Like, hey, we're going to cut the chase. You know, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You know, and then they're fighting, they break them up, and then, you know, Dolph and Drew come out, and then they start getting into it again, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
And man, how good was Dolph?
Oh yeah, Dolph is awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost at times infuriating how good Dolph is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have been him.
It should have been me.
Should
have been me. Aaron says he's happy with WWE trying to get more of a wiki feet presence. I think they're trying to avoid it. They did a lot of hard cuts away from her feet. Anytime they started to get anywhere near seeing the bottom of her feet or something, they cut away. I think they're trying to protect her. I think it's a good way to protect the business, as it were.
Good, because there are just too many creepers out there for the women.
It's not creepy.
The women in the company have
I
a
thought you
lot
meant
of
about the
creepers.
feet. Yeah.
They got too many
the women,
creepers. They don't need any more creepy people.
Let's see. Dorkchop says, hot tip, if you want to get blocked by Dustin Rhodes, just tweet him anything about his TNA character, Black Rain. I'm actually not even familiar with that, so guess what I'm watching tonight? Although, I've tweeted out a couple of times some really, what I felt like was some pretty decent fan art of him that he has never liked. So, I don't know, we're getting to that realm where he either starts liking stuff that I post or he's going to have to block me. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought Asuka and Sasha were great together. What do you think about Sasha bringing back her stamp she used to use in NXT for contract signings?
I don't know. This is the first time I've seen that. And I was kind of just like...
I only knew about it going into it because my timeline was blowing up with people being like... Because her husband had tweeted out a really close-up image of the side of it being bedazzled. And people were like, oh my god, no way, is she really? And then a bunch of people were tweeting out GIFs of her in NXT doing contract signings with little stamp for her signature because she won't actually sign stuff. She just stamps her signature on stuff.
That's funny.
Hysterical. Yeah, so good. What a heel shit thing to do. You want my signature?
Yeah.
Gunk gunk. So good. Jesus Christ.
What?
The picture of Black Rain just came through in the chat.
Oh.
Good Lord. I wonder why that didn't take off. Let's see. So I thought it was really good. I was actually okay with everything that McIntyre said in that particular promo. I didn't care for much what he said after the fact, but I liked Asuka interrupting with all the screaming. I do like that Dolph Ziggler's gonna pick a stipulation. Do you think you know what he's gonna pick?
No.
I'm guessing ladder match. I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe.
Did Gerald Luder wants to know how drunk I am. What do
Is
you
it
got?
obvious?
How many? Is it? Yeah. How many drunks are you, idiot?
Yeah. On the 5 poop scale, how drunk are you?
Yeah. On the 5 poop scale. So, GR Lunar, you did miss that we started rating matches by a 5 poops scale, where they get progressively more solid as you go up in ranking to your rank matches. That's about the level of drunk we are, too, where we've decided to rank by poop scale.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm guessing it'll be a shirts versus skin match. Oh, that'd be good. Shirts versus skins. That's Stadium Stampede, I think. Let's see. I liked all the Big Show stuff in Raw. What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I like this new, mean giant thing that he's doing.
I'm digging it. I liked him calling Zelina Smurfette.
Yeah.
And then what did he call them? Maserati and Ferrari?
Yeah, Lamborghini or Ferrari or something, yeah.
So fucking funny, dude. I was like, I should not be laughing. And here I am. Do you think we are, let's go ahead and let's hit it now. Do you think we are going to get Big Show versus Randy Orton in an Extreme Rules match?
Yes.
I feel
maybe
like
not
we're going to.
Maybe not an Extreme Rules match, but stipulation match.
A non-stipulation match at the pay-per-view?
No, yeah, some kind of stipulation. Like
You
whether
don't
it's
have a
last
stipulation?
standing. Yeah, oh yeah.
But what stipulation would you use for a match like that?
I hear children.
Yeah, I think I hear your little one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that. I
Yeah.
have a couple of them.
Yeah.
But
Oh, Aaron thinks it'll be a retirement match. I could see that. A
yeah,
retirement match for Big Show.
yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
because they did a good job of making him look pretty strong this week.
Yeah. And he's got his new show.
Yeah,
Going
and he's
on.
ready. I think he's ready to retire.
Got other stuff.
Yeah, and it'll, boost up the Legend Killer, thing again.
It'll boost the Legend Killer. It'll, Dork Chop says the last show. Well, it's the last show. Actually, I think that's the way to go. I think you just do a flat out retirement match, not make it all fancy, not do a bunch of hoopla. You know what I mean? Just make it a retirement match. If I can't knock you out, I'll call it, but I can knock you the fuck out. So that's why I'm saying that. And then he doesn't do it,
Yeah, but then he's gonna pull like an MVP. It's my last match with Mysterio, and then he's back the next week.
Yeah, 2 weeks later. Well, I'm a producer now, so things are different. Let's see, the greatest last show ever. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, retirement match would be probably the way to go with it.
I think that'd be cool. Where do you go from there, though? Who does Randy Orton go after next if Big Show's retired and Legend killed, as it were?
I don't know. How long did they say Edge was going to be out for? A few months?
A couple months. I think 4.
Yeah.
If I had to ballpark a drunk guess.
I don't know. I don't know where else you would go.
By the way, I'm drinking Gentleman Jack.
Oh, that's
I'm drinking
not,
Gentleman Jack here,
it's not
so
sturdy there.
it's up to you on if you want me to talk shit about it or talk about how delicious it is. I need either a cease and desist or sponsorship. I need more bottles or less bottles, I guess, is the other option. Go on, Kev.
No, I was just trying to think of who else you would go with Randy afterwards.
I'll split a case with you.
Maybe Jeff Hardy, but I don't
If they
think he's
send
on.
me a case of booze, I will leave some of the bottles on your doorstep safely.
Alright.
I'm letting you know. So
From a distance.
yeah. You think Jeff Hardy would be next? Fuck, that would suck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who else, that's been in there a while.
Yeah. I don't know
I just
who
hope they
you.
don't bring back somebody like Lesnar or something, which might be cool. As long as Orton
Yeah,
goes
but
over.
I don't see you actually ending it that way. I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
but maybe Brock is ready to go. That could very well be Brock saying like, I've done a lot, and he has. And what else has he got to prove? And I can put over Randy in this thing, but I don't know. I've no idea where you go from there if this is the angle they're going back of bringing back the Legend Killer. I'm a big fan of, so I will support the Not Sam podcast. He has his own theory on what to do with Randy Orton while Jeff Hardy or while Edge is away. I would suggest giving that a listen if you want to know what he thinks about it. I disagreed with it, but it has a lot to do with sending him to NXT for some storyline stuff there, which could be really cool. I just don't think it's where they'll go. But I don't know where else you go with Randy Orton once you've got Big Show done.
Yeah.
Although Dorkchop said Brock. He said Brock can do Mania every year like Taker, get a big payday once a year, and hunt Moose for whatever, or 11 months. And Aaron says RKO gives Flair COVID and becomes a literal legend killer.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, that's...
Every time I see Flair go out there, it makes me nervous.
I'm nervous as fuck.
I'm glad they started making some of the audience wear masks. But,
Yep.
Yes.
But yeah, every time I hear the woo, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck! That I was really happy that with this one, he went out to the middle of the Titantron, stood there, did this whole promo, 20 feet away from everyone, and then walked back. Like, you could almost imagine him being, like, Pope-mobiled around in the back. Like,
I was going to say, put him in a bubble.
Yeah, he seemed a bit bubble-like in that one. Because I was watching it, we're like, why is he coming out? Why? No. And then he stood there at the top, did the whole thing, and then walked away, and I was like, oh, thank God. He didn't get near anybody. Like, I'm hoping they're taking it that seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs to stay away from everyone.
Let's see. You had Tozawa and R-Truth for 24/7 title. What do you think about the 24/7 title right now?
Can care less about it. It's just there. All it is filler, and nothing intrigues me about it. They haven't, made a big deal about 24/7. Or
and now they're having normal matches for it.
Yeah.
It's been really weird. I think that could be, though, that it's a part of the COVID land of it all. Like, 24/7 was all about being out in the world and being amongst people and taking the WWE into a place where you wouldn't normally see WWE. But they can't really do that right now. So now they're just having normal matches with it.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do backstage stuff with it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think their backstage is that big.
Well, the parking lot. Or whatever,
Take it to was that place in Orlando? The Universal Studios? Mm-hmm. They're open, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Let's see. Dorkchop says Randy versus in-ring talent Paul Heyman. Aaron says all those 24/7 run-ins have stopped. Dorkchop says I like having real matches 24/7, but the skits are its home, and you can't really do those without them losing their luster. And Aaron says Universal Studios is not open. All the better reason to put them in Universal Studios. No one's there.
Yeah. Go on the King Kong ride and drive.
Do it up. Do it up. I do think that, we talked about it before, where I wanted someone like Aleister Black to win the 24/7 title and have actual matches for it and retain it. This is just, they've taken the goofiness and put it in the ring, in the middle of the ring. Like, it doesn't feel right. Let's see. That's my take on the whole thing. I got Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, and Humberto. I was surprisingly good with all this. I was not understanding why the hell Aleister Black would be involved at all, or why Humberto and Aleister would be a team, but they're working pretty good for me.
Yeah, they are. They, like you said, it makes no sense. They're just gonna like, you two, we need you. But it's working out.
Mm-hmm.
They're two good talents, and they're doing their job, doing what they're supposed to, and it's working.
Yeah, I think it's working out really good. I think Seth and Buddy are fantastic, and I think that Alistair and Umberto have been a surprisingly cohesive team, all things considered. Let's see. That brings us to Ruby Riott versus Peyton Royce. What do you think about the Ruby and Liv stuff they've been doing?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's very slow moving, which is all right. But it's weird because they're teasing that they're against each other, but then they're they're working things out. And, I'm interested, but I can see that where this can go south pretty quick.
It could. I think if they keep moving forward, I like the idea of Ruby and Liv getting back together. Liv being a totally different character than she was before. She's no longer the Riot Squad juvenile delinquent. She's the mid-20s trying to find herself Liv. I don't know. New age Liv. But I do think also that having Peyton Royce in these singles matches have been really nice, showcasing some of her ability. She had that fucking tornado brainbuster. That was insane.
Yeah, that was awesome.
How the fuck did she do that? It was awesome. And they replayed it. And from one angle, I was like, fuck, did she land right on her head? But you look at it from the other angles and you're like, no, I'm pretty sure she was tucked in and protected, But I think that more Ruby is always good. I think she's fantastic. She's such a good talker, and people do not give her credit for that. And she's so believable in the ring. She comes off like she's a badass who's just like ready to fight. And when she loses, it always feels like, fuck.
Yep.
Every time she loses, it doesn't feel like, oh yeah, of course she's going to lose. It always feels like, fuck, Ruby lost.
I was pretty surprised she lost to Peyton.
Me too. But I think it's building towards putting her back together with Liv. Then you have her and Liv go up against the Iconics. They could beat the Iconics and then start showing that they're stronger as a team. Aaron even said he wanted the whole match for someone to run in and help Ruby. Dorchop said Peyton actually had a slick-looking finisher in that match. But did you know Ruby is 0-20 since returning? Literally cannot buy a win. And Aaron said, yeah, I want to see Peyton do that finisher a lot more. So yeah, Ruby's been, and that's just it, Ruby's been on a losing streak. I don't remember last time we saw her win.
Yeah.
But every time she loses, it always feels like, fuck, Ruby lost. It never feels like Ruby doesn't have a chance.
Ruby's going to come out with her own Dark Order.
Ooh, Ruby Lee.
I mean, she started her own YouTube. It's Hooligans United.
That's funny.
Outside of, the show. Which is pretty cool, but...
Well, let's see.
I don't know.
I'm excited to see where that goes. We got Big Show versus Andrade and Angel. I liked Big Show winning that. I think a lot of people will be upset by that, but I liked it. I wanted Big Show to look like a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, well, it's just, it's building, like I said, I think it's building up to him and Randy, and you can't have Big Show lose, going up to something like that.
Yeah. I think people were probably thinking that makes Angel and Andrade look bad. And I don't think it does. It just makes them look like they're in a different weight class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, especially when
Big
it's
Show?
a 2-on-1 handicap with, the tags and stuff like that, because it was always 1-on-1. They never really ganged up on him.
Exactly. They never really got that chance to really do it. And Big Show's a bad, big motherfucker. I'm glad they portrayed him that way and didn't just bury him to put over the new talent, going into potentially something against the apex
Predator.
dirtiest player of the game, or whatever you called him. Dorkshop says, is Ruby the Cesaro of women's division? Never wins singles matches, but makes their opponent look better, and always seems like they could win. That's a pretty good call out. Ruby being the Cesaro of the women's division. What do you think there, Kev?
I always thought that Honor went to Natty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue with the Natty, but Natty's got more wins than anybody ever in the history of women's wrestling.
I know
because she's also believable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if the argument is it Natty or is it Ruby, I'm just happy that that's the argument.
Oh, yeah.
Because I could see both. Yeah, Ruby always looks like she could go over. Natty always is a believable winner. And they make the other person look incredible, and they never look bad. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so important, because I think there's a lot of talent that goes out there to make sure that they never look bad, but they don't always make sure the other person looks incredible.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of big names that do that, where they always look good, but they don't care what the other person looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not fun.
No, because it gets old when you see it.
Yeah, and it also gets to me, like when I see that, it makes, in my eyes, the person only thinking about themselves, it makes them look bad to me.
To me, it does, yeah. It's like, oh, you're
brings down
selfish
their
in this.
match. Yeah.
For sure.
Their
so we got Apollo
poop's a little
Crews.
more runny. So their poo's a little more runny when that happens.
Yeah. They're more on the runny poo scale of the 5 poo match scale, for sure. Let's see. Dork Chop says a loss should never kill your character if you're a top tier wrestler. And I think that's just it with like Ruby and Natty. They're so good that when they take a loss, you always go, "Damn, I can't believe they lost that." Mm-hmm. Where with other people, you don't always get that feeling. You go, "Oh well, of course they're gonna lose, or of course they're gonna win." Let's see. GR Lunar says it's a solid comparison in quotes, talking about poops, I imagine. He is disgusting, GR Lunar. Let's see. That brings us to Apollo Crews versus MVP. And then Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet is kind of one giant segment. I'm liking the whole storyline there. I think Ricochet, Bobby, Cedric, MVP, and Apollo Crews, I like that that's a huge storyline going on right now with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about MVP taking the win?
I didn't mind it. I think they're setting up for MVP versus Apollo for like the actual title.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it might solidify, like if the title's on the line and Apollo beats MVP, because MVP is one of the best U.S. champs there is. Or there was, and I think it might help out Apollo a lot to say, hey, I knocked him off.
Yeah, 100%. I also liked that MVP got that win because I know that had a lot of people talking about should MVP have won or not, and how did he win and all that. And I was thinking, how cool is this that we're talking about Apollo losing a match on this level? Mm-hmm. Everyone's upset that Apollo lost this match. How great is that? That's where we're at right now. A year ago, Apollo came out and you're like, oh, Apollo's going to put over this guy and make that guy look good. Because Apollo's a great athlete and he can make other people look good and he's going to lose the match. Now Apollo loses a match and people go, why the fuck is this where we're at? Like, they're upset about it. They're talking about it. Mm-hmm. That's how good they've turned this around. They've also had enough weeks in a row of Apollo winning matches without people talking about it, other than, yep, Apollo's still doing his thing with the U.S. title. Now he's lost a match, and it's Apollo's doing his thing with the U.S. title, however. And I love that everyone's talking about Apollo Crews right now because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Dorkshop even says, Rick, Cedric, and Crews kind of look like the geeks not being able to break the full Nelson, but it makes that hold look strong as fuck. He's conflicted about it. Love strongly booked finishers, and Ricochet and Cedric have been a fun tag team, and Apollo is dope. Yeah, and I think that's it too, is that Ricochet and Cedric have been relying on each other for a long time as far as the tag team goes, where Bobby needs to come off as this big, mean, mad, bad motherfucker, and that full Nelson, which otherwise a full Nelson does not seem like much of a hold. But the way Bobby does it makes it seem like it's a big fucking deal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, that was the kind of hold you'd put on your siblings, a full Nelson. Yeah. You can't get away. But no one ever felt like, fuck, I'm going to pass out. You know what I mean? But the way Bobby does it, you're all like, fuck, that's brutal. Like,
Yeah, that hurts.
yeah. And I do think that Bobby should be in a class different than all of those guys. I think Bobby should constantly be in the title for the top title. Or constantly in the conversation for the top title. He comes from an MMA background. MMA. Bobby. Hey, yo, Bobby.
Look at him.
Bobby from the MMA. From the MMA.
Okay.
Hey, yo, Bobby.
All
From the
right.
MMA.
I get it.
From the MMA. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, you follow. Hey, yo, Bobby. Hey, yo, Bobby. Right, producer?
Yep.
Wow, she's furious. GR Luna says Lashley is basically Lesnar without the push. I think that's just what it is you give him the push this way, where it actually, the other people looked great in all their matches, and then this is a way for Bobby to come out with his ear ripped off and say, I'm gonna fuck y'all up. With no ear. And Dorktrop says Full Nelson is a pretty nasty hold in MMA. Won't get a tap most likely, but you can raise your arms to defend headshots after a while. Producer is so pissed at me, guys. So pissed.
Because you haven't
MMA
given her a
jokes.
shout out and done the producer voice.
Yeah, well, because I haven't done the producer voice the whole show.
Yeah.
Her furious nature. But I like all that. I like that everyone's talking about Apollo. I like people were talking about that. I thought it was fucking crazy that his ear ripped and he just like kept going and everyone just was watching it happen. And you're like, that guy's ear is pouring blood.
Yeah.
Let's see. It did end with Drew McIntyre and Asuka versus Sasha Banks and Dolph Ziggler. At the end of it, Sasha got the pin over Asuka. Or is it the pin or the...
I missed the very end.
By pinfall, yeah. Banks got the pinfall over Asuka, which at the time I was immediately like, oh no. If Bayley gets the pin now, she will not win at the pay-per-view. And I don't know when the pay-per-view is. I don't know if it's like this week or next week or 4 weeks or whatever. But I think there's so much story to be told if you put all the gold on Sasha and Bayley. Dorkchop says ripped off Orange Cassidy's ear spot, but that was fake. This one's an actual ear being ripped off. What do you got, Kev?
I was going to say, I think it would be more meaningful, and plus I don't want to see all the titles on two people, but I think it'd be more meaningful if Sasha doesn't win, because she'll still have the built-up animosity of her looking at Bayley, all right, you were able to do it and I wasn't.
Yeah, there's that. Maybe there's not a bad way to go. Maybe that's what it really boils down to. If they have all the gold, they could be the most obnoxious team of all time. If Sasha can't get it done, then she keeps looking at Bayley's title, and then that could eventually skew that line and push that story that way. Yeah, maybe there's just not a bad way to go with it the way they've been built.
Yeah.
But Sasha did get that. We did have Bayley on commentary, which I thought was hysterical. Bayley came out and said, I don't know if you guys watch SmackDown, but I'm the best commentator they have. So I'm going to sit over here today. And it was really funny the way Byron and Tom Phillips were like, I thought that was a SmackDown only thing. Fabtina agrees. Bayley is the best commentator SmackDown has. So moving forward, it looks like we're going to get... I do like the idea of Asuka and Sasha going for the title there. I do think that Drew versus Dolph is a long time coming and could be pretty cool. I guess the way you put it, I don't know who I want to win the Raw Women's title. I guess either way, it's a win-win if they do it right.
I just don't think, like I said, you put all 4 belts on 2 people.
Yeah, but you
Especially
get some
since
real obnoxious TV for a while.
What?
You can.
You you can get some really obnoxious TV for a while with that, and they're heels, and so you could really build into obviously we're the best, and they could go to literally every show all the time and put over talent and still win and make the women's division across all three brands look like it's incredible. I just think there's a lot there, especially I guess if Sasha loses, who's next for Asuka?
I hope. Well, no, we haven't seen Nia in a long time, which has been nice.
Nia?
Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while.
I think that we have the possibility of Nia, Shayna, and Bianca. But we haven't seen any of them in quite some time.
Yeah.
And Kari we haven't seen, and is she really going to turn?
Yeah.
Ruby's starting to do this not well thing. Like, I don't know where you go with Asuka if it's not Sasha. Because Sasha can just pick out anyone from half of a tag team and do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I was thinking, it was, you know, the way that they like bolstered Natty. You know, she has the most wins. She has this. You know, I can easily see her saying, "Okay, I do have the most wins. I do have this, but I don't have the title reigns."
Yeah, I could see that. GR Lunar says, think of the hashtags. I mean, that's true. You got 2 belts Banks and Bailey Dose straps. I mean, that's a pretty good hashtag. So what do you got for Asuka? Still Champ Asuka? That's not a good hashtag. Doesn't even rhyme. They say Bianca's been gone forever in the chat. So, I don't know. I guess I'm excited to see where it goes. I guess is really the bottom line of it. Mm-hmm. Is I don't know where you go from here, and I think that there's only good that can come out of this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it's nice because unlike other, you know, title matches where you're like, all right, I'm 90% sure this person's going to win. Like this one, truly, in my eyes, is a coin toss. 50-50 each way. If they do this, it could be cool. If they do that, it could be cool. And a lot of times you don't get that.
100%. There's no way to know exactly where it's going to go in this one. GR Lunar says, hashtag Team 4 Belts. Another great hashtag. It's just good hashtag after good hashtag, men. Doorshop says, it seemed like they did forget about Bianca because she debuted, looked cool, got paired with the Profits, then disappeared right away when they became their most visible. Yeah. Bringing her up was the worst thing. I said it at the time. This is horrible news for Bianca Belair. And nobody believed me. And you heard it here first. Because when I'm drunk, I'm right. That's all I know.
All the time.
Let's see. What was I going to say about any of that? It is just really exciting to see, I guess, about any way that they go with it. Like you said, there's no way to call it. But I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think speaking of calling it, yeah, I got nothing else unless anybody had anything they wanted to derail us with. I think that going into this, tomorrow we have the beginning of Fyter Fest and the beginning of Great American Bash. Pick your poison. I don't know what night Io and Sasha is.
I thought it's not tomorrow?
If it's tomorrow, I'm staying up for it. If it's not tomorrow, I'm going to bed. So I don't know.
Headphones dead.
Your headphones dead? It's all right. Yep. We're doing last call. Tomorrow night, Fyter Fest and Great American Bash begin. On Fyter Fest, every title is on the line. A bunch of championships. I think almost every match tomorrow night at Fyter Fest is going to be a title match. And I think tomorrow night on Great American Bash, we're going to get some really good stuff. I think we got Roddy versus Dexter. And we might have Io versus Sasha. What do you got?
So we're going to get night 1 of the Great American Bash. It's going to be Io and Sasha in a non-title match.
Yeah.
So
it's incredible. It's going to be tomorrow night. It might be the best match of the year. I definitely suggest everyone watch it because that's what I do. You suggest everyone watch wrestling. So I think that brings us to the end. That is last call. Kevlar, thanks for coming through. Thank you and shout out to Iron Manzi, the Long Island scumbag, for coming in and gracing us with his shitty presence once again, and having a drink with us. Yeah, the guy's the scummiest and our favorite. And fuck you to Clump. Happy birthday, dude. You don't even hear us, so whatever. Dorkchop says, cheers everyone. Always a pleasure. Speedy spend Tuesday with you. And
wait,
thank
I got
you.
one more.
You got one. What do you got?
We never answered Dorkchop's question.
Oh,
Holy shit.
oh,
We got
man, we
Dorkchop's
gotta do
question
that.
from last week, dude. What do you got? So, let me pull it up. Dorkchop, don't go away.
Hold the phone.
He's like these assholes.
Yeah, that's how we were supposed to open the show.
Yeah, you did say that. You're like, I'm gonna take a screenshot,
I did.
and I'm not gonna look at it.
I did take a screenshot and I sent it to everybody.
I'm not
Way to
gonna lie, I
go.
didn't even think about it until right now, so I'm trying to think of guys I would put on that list.
Well, it looks like
Here it is.
Dorkchop
We can
forgot
get one.
too.
Yeah, he forgot. He missed. He glad he missed the open. I'm glad we didn't do it in the open because he wasn't here because he
Yeah.
was doing his own stream, counter programming us. Let's see.
We did that on purpose.
Yeah, so he says he's a fan of OSW reviews. Not sure if remember. They do their boys stable, like they're my boys stable. Who are your 5 boys? All can't have one ever won the world title. So who are your 5 boys who never won the world title? And you feel a slight sense of shame for them being one of your top boys. Dorkchops picked Glacier. He put in parentheses WCW, like Glacier from AEW just wasn't enough. La Parka, Sandman, Joey Janela, and Bull Buchanan. So who are your 5 boys? When you think of your top wrestlers who never quite won that, who other people go, really, dude, that's your top dude? I know my first guy comes to mind immediately would be X-Pac.
Yeah, I was gonna
He
say
was
mine
always
Road
my
Dogg.
top. Yours was definitely Road Dogg, for sure. So we were like breaking up DX, being like, but no one gets it. I mean, I guess realistically, I have to put Sammy on there. He barely won the Intercontinental title, and he's always been one of my top guys.
Yeah.
I'd have to go X-Pac. He's always been one of my top guys. I mean, unfortunately, when I think about it, some of my other guys were pretty big.
Yeah, like
Piper is easy. He never won the
Andre-
world, but
Yeah, but people won't be, if you say, hey, I'm a fan of Piper or Andre, no one's going to be like, oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Dorkchop says X-Pac is great boy material. Weird way to say it. I think of Jerry Lawler because he never won the world title in WWE, but he was on top for so long in Memphis that it shouldn't count. He's had more titles won than any other person in the entire world. He's won over 250 different titles. So he doesn't count.
No.
Let's see. So I got X-Pac. I got Sammy.
I mean, I liked
do you-
K-Dog back in the day.
K-Dog was dope. I kind of want to say Alex Wright. I remember liking him a lot.
Oh, Kidman? I liked Kidman.
Kidman was badass.
Raven was pretty
Dorkchop's-
cool, too.
You got some chat.
Yeah, Aaron says, is Ray too popular to make that category? He did hold the world title. And Dorkchop said, if they had one good run and tanked afterward, they can be a boy. And Aaron says, Vader was always his favorite. Or says Wonderkind.
But, oh,
Oh
jeez.
my god.
Hold on, I just got to move it all
We
over
gotta
to the
hurry.
side.
We gotta hurry this up. There's
Is it
not
traveling
much.
south?
Yeah.
It's
I feel
always
like Alex Wright
traveling.
was always a big one for me. I'm looking around to see who I ever got merch of people, but I'm trying to think. I think this was even beyond that. Hacksaw, he never had a title, did he?
Not a world. He was the first Rumble winner.
Yeah, I
He
think
was
that's
first
kind of it.
Rumble. Well, and I think Jake was always one of my favorites, and he never won any title ever. But is he a boy? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause-
see, like, I think Hacksaw and Jake are just fan favorites to begin with, so they can't be on there.
That's what I feel like too. I feel like everyone goes, "Oh, of course you like Jake, and of course you liked Hacksaw." They were just fan favorites. People loved them.
Yeah, see, I almost feel like
yep, Dorkchop even says, Dorkchop says Hacksaw and Jake are too over. He's like, forget it. Let's see.
I'd almost say it can't be anyone in the Hall of Fame, but then Road Dogg and X-Pac are.
X-Pac's a 2-time Hall of Famer. Two-time. Let me see. Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Terry Funk was pretty crazy good and never won a title in WWE of any note. I believe he won some of the smaller ones.
I can agree with Dorkchop with Sandman. I always liked Sandman.
Yeah. Fuck. And I would say from ECW days, I was super into Taz as a kid, but I mean, he was world champ of ECW and he is who he is. I think he's too over.
See, I think there should be another to be continued because I need to sit down and actually come up with my 5 and be like, all right, this is my.
But you're the one who brought it up, Dick.
I know, but I just remembered it right now.
We all.
We got pretty close so far, right? So you had Road Dogg, you had K-Dog, anyone with dog, is pretty much your dude.
Roman. No.
Yeah, Roman Dog. Trying to think. Let me see some of my toys I have up.
What about the Bushwhackers? I know they're a tag team, but I always loved them.
Oh yeah, dude, you loved them.
Going around licking my sister's head, she hated that shit.
Well, I don't know if that was as bad as Marsh flicking a toothpick
in my mom's eye.
Yeah, in your mom's eye.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey yo.
Yeah. Hey yo. Dude, I was so good with that shit. I was like pinpoint accuracy.
Horrible.
Yeah. So wait, does Taz count Dorkchop as one of my boys if ECW title doesn't count? Because then that would put me at X-Pac, Alex Wright, Taz. Here's the other thing: is I got to think of I'm trying to think of I'd have to think of WCW guys because I think of in my mind because I was such a WWF guy as a kid that I almost feel like they were all over. You know what I mean? D'Lo was incredible. He's a good guy for the list.
That's my buddy.
Should I put X-Pac? Oh yeah, and I can't argue with him. Every time he said he's your favorite, I was like, yep.
Yeah.
I will not argue with someone who says D'Lo's their favorite.
Owen's too over, right? Just like everyone else.
Is Owen Hart too over? Because I feel like he is.
Yeah.
What about Anvil or Bulldog?
Anvil's a good.
Dude, the whole Hart Foundation. Brian Pillman.
Pillman. Oh, I loved Flying Brian in WCW. He was my
dude.
He's definitely on my list. The Hollywood Blondes. Oh, I loved Brian Pillman.
Yeah, he was always good, and he always, in a time when there was a lot of back and forth on what's real and what's not, he was always like, yeah, but that guy's actually fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd put an X-Pac, D'Lo. Can I have Anvil or Pillman in there? Because I'd put both those guys in my 5 of guys who I was always super obsessed with. And then if I could have a Taz, that would be my 5. What do you think, Dorkchop? We're gonna let you be the judge, Dorkchop. You're our guy here on this one. He says Anvil, yes. Pillman lacks the shame factor. Well, that's a bummer to say that about Anvil then.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, maybe.
Benoit is a shame.
He won world titles.
Yeah, okay.
And other things.
I'm just thinking of shame.
Yeah. That's true. What about Kevin Sullivan? I loved Kevin Sullivan.
See, I was never a Sullivan fan.
Dude, I remember during the whole Dungeon of Doom or whatever the fuck it was called, where it was when I think of greatest rivalries of all time, one of the ones that always comes to mind, top 5, is Benoit and Kevin Sullivan in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Dungeon of Doom, he says, yeah. I always think of that as that was the first time I looked at both those guys and said, holy shit, these guys are real. I remember, because you and I remember as kids, Kevlar, you tell me if I'm up my ass about this, but I remember us talking about what wrestling was real and what wasn't. We were constantly debating what was real and what wasn't. And I feel like that one of the things we talked about in WCW was it was too fake for us. I remember saying that, like, Disco Inferno never got hit, but would always fall over.
Yeah.
But I remember saying, but Benoit and Kevin Sullivan, those guys are real.
Mm-hmm.
You remember? Do you remember those conversations? Am I wrong on this?
No, I remember that because, and now looking at their history, I was like, they probably were hitting each other. But
They probably were. Yeah. So then I would say Anvil, Kevin Sullivan, X-Pac. Taz has the shame factor because that means you admit you watched ECW. That's funny. So I could put Taz in there, and I would say D-Lo. Those would be my 5. D-Lo, Anvil, Kevin Sullivan, Taz, and Anvil.
You said Anvil twice.
Did I? It was hard to keep track of what order I was saying. D-Lo, X-Pac, Anvil, Kevin Sullivan, and Taz.
Okay.
Is that 5 separate ones?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. I've had a lot.
All right.
Kevlar, what were your 5? For your 5 so far, we got Road Dogg for sure. Does Brian Pillman count for him? Oh, he said Pillman didn't count for shame factor.
Yeah, Pillman didn't count. Which sucked because I remember him in the little tiger drawers that he used to wear when he was flying. And I was ashamed of him even when I was little.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have K-Dog, Road Dogg. I liked Kidman when he first came up.
Billy Kidman for sure. You did. Because I remember you and I having arguments. I kept saying...
Alex Wright on yours, too.
Alex Wright was on my list originally, but I would replace him with a Kevin Sullivan for sure.
Yeah.
If you want Alex Wright, you can have him. But...
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But Billy Kidman's a really good one. I remember you and I having arguments about who was better, Billy Kidman or Chris Jericho. Because I remember telling you that Chris Jericho, to me, was the next Shawn Michaels. And you're like, no fucking way. I think you were probably right in the long run. But I think there definitely was a lot of star power there at the time. But the Lionheart, Chris Jericho, I was a big fan of. But you were always backing Billy Kidman.
Yeah.
So we got Road Dogg, K-Dog, Billy Kidman, 2 more.
I asked about the Bushwhackers, but they were fan favorites, so I don't think they would count.
Yeah. Did we say Owen, Dorkchop? What was your call on Owen, Dorkchop?
Yeah, no,
I think we said Owen's 2 over.
Owen's 2 over? He's got to be.
What about Bulldog?
Yeah, Bulldog never won a championship.
Yeah.
He won the IC for a short period of time.
And I've told Marsh several times, one of my favorite guys in WCW was always Mean Mark. And I know he can't, include The Undertaker, but when he was Mean Mark, everyone looked at me like I was dumber than hell because I liked him.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I remember, even being very young, you talk about Mean Mark Callis. I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So that's one of those unfortunate ones that you can't quite have. But
he unfortunately became The Undertaker.
Yeah, he had to go on and become one of the greatest of all history.
Way to ruin this one for me.
Yeah. Which is funny because when I think of guys like how I was so into Mankind and Bret Hart and X-Pac as a kid, and I remember being like, you guys being like, you're up your ass, how do you think they're the best? And then looking back, hindsight, we've all looked at it and been like, man, those guys were fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, Dorkchop says Hall was even 2 over his Razor. What's up?
What's that guy's name?
Okay.
He's in TNA. The Black Machismo. What was his name?
Black Machismo? Moose?
No.
Got anything
Dude,
else?
you could probably have beer money. Bobby Roode and James Storm.
Yeah.
Let me see. Black
I like
Machismo.
them. Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal.
But he might be too
Jay
old
Lethal
now.
was one of you guys? No, he says great pick. Dork Chop was playing it through. Jay Lethal.
Nice. He's on there.
Yeah, he's a great pick. You know who else is fantastic? I don't know if you've seen much of him, but Pope, who was Elijah Burke in WWE. He's done some great work in NWA as the Pope. But,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't think of.
So you got one more.
I can't. I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think of people you liked when we were growing up where I was like, what the fuck, dude?
I know.
But not in a bad way. You were always like in tune with what people liked. You know what I mean? You're always like, oh yeah, Shawn Michaels is the next dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way, it's Bret Hart. And you're like, no, it's Shawn. And I was like, it's Bret. And you're like, it's Shawn. And then it was Shawn. And I was like, well, whatever.
I mean, what about Marty Jannetty? I still liked him a lot.
You did. You always got excited when he came through.
Yeah.
Also, Shelton Benjamin, you've been big on.
Oh, I've always loved Shelton Benjamin.
You've been real big on Shelton Benjamin. I'm going to say you should probably have a Shelton Benjamin on that list if Dork Chop will allow it.
Yeah.
Because,
Big Shelton.
yeah, he said the Jannetty worked, but I don't know if we got the okay on the Benjamin. But you've been. I remember as soon as Benjamin showed up, as soon as he came back, I was like, "What the fuck?" And you were like, "Oh my god, this is the guy!" And I was like, "Oh, and you're okay." Like you flipped the fuck out.
I mean, he had a decent run, years ago, but
yeah, he had an okay run, but it wasn't very far, and I don't think a lot of people pick him. So, let's see. Dork Chop even says, to be honest, early on as the Rockers, Jannetty was better than Michaels. And he's like, don't at me. That's funny. I think that I would put your fifth as Shelton Benjamin because you've always talked super high of him. Even when we were doing the Slam card game together, when Shelton Benjamin stuff came through, you always wanted it. It's kind of like a minor thing. You're like, oh, this is good. It's got Benjamin in it. And I've met Shelton Benjamin a couple times. He's a really cool guy, really nice. But I think that'll do it. I think that's your 5. Dork Chop says Shelton is a fine pick. He's not as excited as my picks were, so it just goes to show you I'm better at this than you.
you like more trash.
Yeah. I'm definitely an underdog kind of a guy.
Yeah.
So I think that'll do it, and then I'll make sure Clump gets us a 5 boys pick for next week. For Dork Chop, I apologize for that. Let's see, Dork Chop says, love you all for this. Thanks for thinking it through on the spot. And I mean, I think that's the way to do it. Break it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll see, because otherwise it would have been kind of funny to just come up. Here's my 5 and why. You know what I mean? Just run through it. Would Terry Funk, by the way, would that have worked for a boy? Just by the by. Video clip that spawned this idea. Oh, he's gonna tweet at me and show me the clip. That'd be awesome, Dork Chop. I'd really like to see that. Maybe I can get that thing circulating and see a bunch of people pick a bunch of boys. I think it'd be a really fun thing, especially with the way that Twitter has been lately and the environment that it's been. It might be nice to have a bunch of people talk about people they really liked who never got to shine the way they wanted. But I think that unless you got something else, Kev.
No. I think that's it.
Nope, I think that's it. Guys, last call. Thanks for coming through. Check us out, WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. It's got all of our links. It's got the shop to the pro wrestling tees. We got Pointless Aggression shirts. We got Give Me What I Want shirts. You got Just Us Hanging Out. You also got Drinking Buddies in there. You got my gallery of all my little drawings I do. I do a lot of fan art. That's fun. Check us out. Subscribe to the YouTube. We need more subscribers on there to change the URL to something palatable. And apart from that, I think that's it. I'm at Ref Marsh. That's at Kevlar on the Rocks. And until next week, cheers.
Cheers.